It's time for high school football on Audio Sports Online. Tonight we are at Orioles Stadium at Avon High School, where the Decatur Central Hawks will meet the Avon Orioles in this sectional opener here, Class 5A Sectional 6. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to high school football on Audio Sports Online. My name's Brian Scott. I will be joined shortly by the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne. Will be calling tonight's action here between the Hawks and the Avon Orioles. Quickly, we want to thank a couple of our regular season sponsors that have made it possible to bring you Avon football this regular season. It was Reynolds Body Shop. We thank them very, very much. And also the Hendricks County Flyer. Big props go out to both of those sponsors. They helped us to bring Avon varsity football to you during this regular season. Well, tonight the regular season is over. Sectional play will be getting underway here momentarily. It is a rather chilly night here at Orioles Stadium here at Avon, but so far it looks like the rain has moved out of the area. Still could see a little bit of drizzle, a little bit of a light shower. Temperatures right now in the mid-40s, the wind blowing to the north, right to left as you are looking at your video monitor as we get ready for tonight's game as the Decatur Central Hawks making their way out to the field here, and we'll be seeing the Avon Orioles here shortly. Decatur Central comes into tonight's game with a record of 4-5. They're coming off of a win last week as they closed out the regular season with a win, snapping a 3-game losing streak. They played at Franklin last week, and really no contest as the Hawks were up 20-7 at the half. They were up 40-0 after the end of 3 quarters, and by that time, Coach Justin Dixon had brought in the second and third teamers, and the Hawks went on to win that game by the score of 40-14. Tommy Stevens got the start at quarterback, 4 of 7 on the night for 64 yards, threw for a touchdown, was also intercepted on 1 pick. And for the Hawks, Eli Conlon, 7 carries for 171 yards, also ran in a couple of touchdowns, had a long 86-yard run in that game as well. Dakota Sidwell, only 5 carries for just 35 yards as Coach Dixon was able to get a lot of his starters out of the game and give some of the backups some opportunity in the season finale for Decatur Central. So the Hawks come in with a record of 4-5. Again, they had lost 3 straight coming into last week's game. And for Decatur Central, they've knocked off some pretty impressive competition this year. They've knocked off Whiteland and Martinsville. They had that 3-game winning streak where they knocked off Whiteland, went to Martinsville, defeated Martinsville, and then came back and defeated Mooresville before going on that 3-game losing streak against Plainfield, Mid-State Conference champion Greenwood, and then Indianapolis Roncalli. For the Avon Orioles, they finished the season with a record of 5-4. They lost last week at Zionsville to close out the regular season. As I mentioned, the Orioles 5-4 under Coach Mark Bless last week. It was a bit of a tight game through the first quarter. We were all tied up at 7, but the Eagles scored 21 points in that second quarter to take a 28-7 lead. They would eventually go up 31-7 before Avon made 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, a Cole Johnson 1-yard run, and Nolan Woody a 16-yard catch from Cole Johnson. Both of them led to 2-point conversions, but it simply wasn't enough as the Orioles fell to Zionsville by the score of 31-23. Cole Johnson last week, 12-23, 161 yards, threw for a touchdown, also had 1 picked off. And for the Orioles on the ground, it was Derek Tennant, 13 carries for 50 yards. Cole Johnson, 11 carries for 61 yards, including 1 touchdown. And Jalen Edwards had 4 catches for 83 yards. Nolan Woolley, 2 catches for 21 yards, including that touchdown. But that's all been by the wayside now as the regular season is over. Sectional play is ready to begin. And I bring in the Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne. And, Coach, we always talk about the regular season. Regular season's over, second season's ready to begin.
Well, you know, that's a good thing and a bad thing. You know, you start off fresh, and that's a good thing. And, you know, you try to take everything you've done during the season, and, you know, you're always working to eliminate the things that haven't worked or that you haven't done well, and you hope that some of your young kids grow up, your injured kids get healthy, and the team chemistry, you know, should be at its high point at this time of the year. So, you know, I think that's a key for both teams here tonight. They both have very, very good football teams, but they've both been a little bit up and down. I think we talked about the inconsistency here in the pregame, and it'll be interesting to see, whether either one of these teams can come out here tonight, and put together 4 quarters of solid football, because that's the key in tournament play.
This is the first matchup ever between these two schools, Decatur Central and Avon, and it will also be the last matchup, more than likely, between these two schools, as Avon, more than likely, the consensus, they will be moving to 6A next year. So, Coach, one of the things that we see in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, of course, is none of the HCC top conference teams play any sort of pre-conference schedule. They play each other. So you go into the only time that the Orioles will meet a team that they've never seen before comes in tournament time. So if you're an Oriole fan, what do you look for against a team that you've just seen a few game films on?
Well, you're always looking for matchups. You want to see if we can get Jalen or Nolan or some of our top receivers. You want to try to find out early how they're going to compete with the DBs of the other team. You want to check overall team speed. You want to see how you handle the battle up front. So, those are some things I think both coaches kind of want to take a look at. You're right about the regular season. I think the coaches have a little bit better idea, though, because you get so many opportunities now with the summer workouts to compete against other teams and 7-on-7 type things, and in camps and and that type of thing. So when you head to camp, you get a little bit of an idea. But you're right; it's been 9 weeks where you've just played against your own conference, so this will be a little bit different for both teams.
For the Decatur Central Hawks, their quarterback starting tonight will be Taylor Douglas. He is a junior. He comes in 55 completions on 128 attempts for 697 yards. Stevens is a sophomore, 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Meanwhile, for the Avon Orioles, quarterbacking tonight, it will be a senior, as Cole Johnson comes into tonight's contest. 49 completions on 102 attempts, 780 yards. 13 touchdowns for Cole on the season against only 7 interceptions. For Avon, you will see pretty much more of a pro-style offense, and they will work a rather aggressive, a very aggressive defense. Once again, they are facing a team in Decatur Central likes to run the ball. They will run it behind sophomore Dakota Sidwell. Sidwell with 685 yards carrying the ball this year, 8 touchdowns. And for the Avon Orioles, you'll see a little bit of everything. You'll see some running the ball. You'll see some throwing the ball. You will see a very aggressive defense. And then for Decatur Central, of course, they will also be running a bit of a 3-3 type of defense, very similar to what Avon uses. But looking at this running attack of Decatur Central, we expect to see a lot more linebacker play out of the Avon Orioles. The Avon Orioles won the toss. They elected to defer. Decatur Central will be receiving this opening kickoff. So pull up a chair, and we hope you enjoy tonight's sectional action here on Audio Sports Online as the Avon Orioles and the Decatur Central Hawks get ready to battle it out here at Oriole Stadium. Niles Edwards will kick this ball away, and he will kick it deep, and forcing back and into the end zone is Jalen Miller. And it will be the Hawks on offense, 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. For Decatur Central, quarterback is a 6'3", 361-pound sophomore, Tommy Stevens. His line will consist of Lucas McNeil, John Day, Luke Gregory, John Sidwell, and T.J. Kilborn. The wideouts are Riker Stout and Aaron Sandy. Halfback is Eli Kahn. On the tailback is Dakota Sidwell, and the tight end is Jordan Jackson. They will run just about anything out of this. We'll see them start in more of a pro-style set. They'll bring a man in motion, and the give is to the wingback, who will bring it right up the middle, as Dakota Sidwell will take it. He'll take it straight up the middle for a gain of about 5 yards.
Yeah, just a pretty basic isolation power type play. At this point, like we talked a little bit earlier, I think both teams are in a little bit of a feeling out period. Decatur's going to come out here now and see how well, if at all, they can run the football and see how they match up front with their offensive line versus Avon's defensive line.
Be second down at about 3 as coming over is Stevens. He'll throw it down the field, looking at a nice defensive play by Devin Michael. As Tommy Stevens was looking downfield, he was trying to hit over here on the near sideline, Cameron Evans, but a good play by the Avon Oriole defensive back.
Yeah, Coach Dixon likes to mix things up. He's got a little background at Decatur, played there, and then went over and coached at Warren Central for a while with Coach Wright. So, you can see some semblance, a little bit of the old Warren Central offense with, the misdirection, the wing back, and, it'll be a multiple type offense, even though their emphasis is in the running game.
And to bring up third down is once again Sidwell's brought in. He will go over the left side. He'll find a little bit of room, but not before the Avon defense stops him up and stacks him up.
Looks short.
And he will be shy of the first down by about a yard, as that'll bring up 4th and 1 from the 29-yard line. Then brings Sidwell in as from a wing back, brings him into the tailback. He'll have 2 lead blockers, and this time the Oriole defense is able to stack him up, and that will bring out to punt this ball away for Decatur Central is Zach Autry, but before he can get this ball away, penalty flags fly.
Yeah, that snap only made it back about 5 yards. In fact, when it first happened, I thought they might be running the fake, but evidently just a bad snap.
So Autry's going to have to back up and try this one again, as Autry on the season.
Yeah, they're bringing a real punt team in here. They might have just been in a no snap, try to draw Avon offside since they had just about a yard to go, and now they've decided to come out with a regular punt team.
So back deep is Dane Thomas for the Orioles, back at his own 45 as Autry gets a foot into it. Nice high kick. Thomas will come to the far sideline. He'll take a bounce and it'll go out of bounds. And the Orioles will take over for their first possession of this football game after they hold the Hawks to a 3-and-out. It'll be senior Cole Johnson bringing the offense out onto the field offensively for the Orioles. The offensive line, Trey Sturm, Zach Kaufman, Chase Alexander, Jake Higginbotham, and Ryan Willis. Tight end is Sam Bloom, Jalen Edwards, and Nolan Woolley are the wideouts. Anthony Green's the fullback, Cody Baker is the tailback, and Cole Johnson is at quarterback as he bends down on this 1st and 10 from his own 47. And he will give it straight ahead to Cody Baker, and Baker will get maybe a yard before he's stacked up by that 3-3 defense.
Yeah, interesting style of defense. My first look at Decatur this year, they're playing man-to-man coverage. Their corners can't be more than 2-3 yards off the ball, and there's no help in the middle of the field, but they are certainly attacking up front. They've got 8 people in there pretty tight, pretty close to the line of scrimmage, and they're going to come after them.
Johnson will work out of the gun. He'll bring Jalen Edwards in motion to the near side, and he will drop back and pass. Fires over to the near side, caught by Edwards, who is popped as he is met hard. Coming over, it looks like the defensive back Xavier Batty, as 5'9", 162-pound senior, gave Jalen Edwards a pop, but not before Jalen picks up about 5 yards, but it'll bring up 3rd down and about 4.
Yeah, good call, I think, by the Avon staff. They noticed right away they were in man-to-man. Jalen Edwards is a tough matchup, 1-for-1 with anybody. They motioned him across, got him freed up, got him the ball out in the flat. The defender for Decatur did make an excellent tackle.
So 3rd down and about 4 yards to go for the Orioles in Hawk territory at the 46. The give is to Derek Tennant. Tennant's going to go straight ahead to about the 43-yard line, but much like Decatur Central, Avon looks to be maybe about a yard short.
Yeah, it'll be close, but they're also, in a little bit better field position than Decatur was. They're at least on the right side of the 50-yard line. So I would guess that Avon's going to go for it here.
Head coach Mark Bless will go for it on 4th down and 1. He'll have Anthony Green and Derek Tennant in the eye behind Johnson as Decatur Central stacks up the line of scrimmage, but the big quarterback for Avon, Cole Johnson, he is a horse in the backfield, and he just simply plows ahead for the 1st down.
Well, he is a horse, but he's got big Chase Alexander in front of him, and Chase is, a 3-year starter, I believe. He's about 300-pound, good, solid lineman, and quarterback sneak behind him is, should be a sure thing, and it was.
Nolan Woolley and Jalen Edwards will line out as wideouts to the far side. That is Edwards in the slot. Again, backfield with Green and Tennant on this 1st and 10 for Avon. just underway here in this first quarter. Play action pass, but Johnson eludes one man but not another, as he is going to be bowled over. Is coming in to make the tackle, I believe, was big Jimmy Alexander. Got some rush from the near side. That forced him back into Alexander, and Alexander makes the sack.
It's just a matter of time before they go deep to Jalen Edwards. That play-action pass took a little bit too long to develop.
It was a loss of 10. Here's Derek Tennant right up the middle. Ball might have been loose, but the official says that Tennant was down after Derek picks up a gain of about 4. Defensively for the Hawks across the front line, Jimmy Alexander, Jacob Scotton, and Angela Hayes. The linebackers are Jordan Jackson, Austin J. John Sidwell, and John Sidwell. The corners are Stephen Kay and Xavier Batty, and the safeties are Daniel Malloy and Jack Weldon. It is going to be third down and about 16 for Avon. As the Hawks show blitz, they bring it up the middle. Johnson steps in the pocket, throws down. It's got Jalen Edwards, and Edwards is going to take it to the house for 6. Well, Coach Shelbourne called it as Cole Johnson stepped up calmly in the pocket with the pressure coming from the Hawks. He found Jalen Edwards on a post route, hit him in stride, and Edwards took it the rest of the way for 46 yards and an Avon touchdown.
You know, that's one of those philosophical decisions that you have to make. I mean, they've got a lot of people in there. Avon's line and kept the tight end and backs in that time to max protect and did a great job. But, you know, it's 3rd and 16. They're playing 2 yards off the football. I mean, that's just suicide.
Niles Edwards will put this one through for the point after. And with 7:16 left to go in this first quarter, Avon jumps out in front by the score of 7-0. This is Avon and Decatur Central football on Audio Sports Online. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. And remember, if you've missed any of the action all season long, simply go to audiosportsonline.net, and you can look up either Decatur Central or Avon and get a free on-demand podcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We'll keep it up all school year long, and you can relive some of the best moments in both Hawks and Oriole football, as it is Jalen Edwards on the receiving end of a Cole Johnson pass. Edwards takes it 46 yards to the house, and Avon in this sectional opener, they lead Decatur Central by the score of 7-0, with Niles Edwards getting ready to kick this ball away, as once again dropping back for Decatur Central. They will send back deep for is Jalen Miller. This ball is going to bounce and go into the end zone for the touchback. Well, for our Mid-State fans, we find out that Ron Colley is trailing the Plainfield Quakers. Quakers up 7-0 early in that game. Of course, we will also be trying to keep a close eye on what matters to both these teams. That is happening in Terre Haute tonight, as Terre Haute South is playing Terre Haute North. The winner of this game will face one of those two teams. If it's the Avon Orioles, Avon would be traveling to Terre Haute no matter what the condition. If it's Decatur Central that comes out on top, well, they could be hosting a home game, but we got a lot of football left to be played. Is on 1st and 10. They will come over to the near side on a handoff and get very, very little yardage, as coming over to the near side for Decatur Central was Eli Conlon. Eli's going to pick up a couple of yards, and he's going to.
We've got a penalty on Decatur, some kind of verbal confrontation after the play.
So a dead ball foul, personal foul against Decatur Central. So Decatur, who had gone 3 and out on their opening possession of this football game, they get a 2-yard run from Conlon, but now not only will they lose the down, they're going to lose the yardage all the way back to about the they will spot this ball at the 11-yard line.
Well, one of the good things here, you know, for Avon at this point in the game is they've had great field position. Niles Edwards kicked both balls in the end zone, so Decatur started from 20 after their first possession. They punted the ball out just past midfield, so Avon, you know, got to short field it a little bit, and right now Decatur's got their back to the wall on the 10-yard line.
Stevens will watch Sidwell go in motion. He'll work the option. He'll pitch out to Sidwell. Sidwell finds some room on the outside, and Dakota will take it up beyond the 16, close to the 17-yard line before he is brought down, he'll be very close to the original line of scrimmage for the Hawks. They will spot him at about the 19-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down and 11 for Decatur Central. Defensively for Avon across the defensive line, Joe Belden, Isaiah Robinson, and Mac Duffin. The linebackers are Elijah Daniel, T.J. Wilson, Chad Piatek, and Brian Stinnett. The corners, Gabe Laxtons and Devin Michael. And the safeties, Matt Patustik and Dane Thomas. 3rd down and 11 for Hawks. As Tommy Stevens will drop back to pass, fires over the middle, pass is caught.
Wow.
As a nice grab by Aaron Sandy. Brian Stinnett, the linebacker, tried to jump the route, dove in front. Good concentration by Sandy to haul it in, but he's going to be shy of the 1st down. It'll bring up 4th down for DC.
That was a great pass because I thought Matt Patustak picked it off, made a good jump on the ball, but somehow or another he got the ball in there, and it looks like Decatur's going to go for it here on 4th and 2. Nope, they're in there. They're
back into punt formation as once again Autry will kick this one. It'll bounce, and it's going to take a good Decatur Central bounce, and it will finally stop rolling inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. So a very, very good punt. Actually, that was Taylor Douglas, the quarterback, with the kick.
Yeah, that's kind of their iffy punt situation. They line up in a formation where they can come out and run a play if they want to. They have their quarterback back, so there's always the threat that he can run or throw, and most of the time it looks like they're going to punt the ball out of it.
So the Oriole defense has held the Hawks to 2 3-and-outs. This will be the second offensive series for Avon. They capitalized their first into a touchdown from Cole Johnson to Jalen Edwards, and they'll have 1st and 10 from their own 29. The give is to Tennant, and Tennant's going to be stacked up right there in the middle with nowhere to go, and he might be lucky to get back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, shifted to tight end there to get to an unbalanced look. Both teams have been in a little bit of balance, a little unbalanced front here to try to get an advantage at the point of attack. Avon again in their hurry-up offense, no-huddle offense.
Derek is actually going to be shy of the original line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 11 is they will line up in an I as Johnson pitches to Tennant. Tennant looks for some room, finds it on the right side, and he will take it upfield for a pickup of almost 10 yards before he is brought down in the secondary. Tackle, I believe, made by Daniel Malloy. And it'll be 3rd and 1 for Avon. Avon again quickly to the line of scrimmage on this 3rd and 1. They give it to Green. Green loses the football, but I believe Cole Johnson was able to fall back on it, but it's going to bring up 4th down for Avon.
Yeah, they tried to run a little fullback, little quick trap in there, and a great penetration by Decatur's defensive line, and he actually got hit just as he was handing off, and that's what caused the fumble. Avon was lucky that Cole Johnson was able to hop on that ball. Otherwise, they'd have given up a very good field position to Decatur.
Dropping back, I believe it's Daniel Malloy for Decatur Central. Very difficult to see some of the Decatur Central numbers. They're wearing white jerseys with light gold numerals, so a little difficult to pick up some of the numbers. That is Niles Edwards back to punt. Edwards puts a right foot into it, gets a high kick, and it'll be taken at the 27 and having to fall right on it as soon as he made the catch. Actually, that was Jack Weldon that made the punt recovery, but a penalty flag back. It's going to be a legal procedure against Avon, and more than likely Decatur Central will make him kick this one again.
Yeah, that would have been the best starting field position for Decatur, but they're hoping to even improve on that a little bit by backing Avon up here a little bit and forcing them to punt again.
So Weldon will once again draw back as a single safety, but he'll move up a little bit. He'll stand about at his own 33-yard line as Niles Edwards will be backed up 5 yards. He will kick this one away from the Avon 15. 4:04 left to go in quarter number 1. Avon with a 7-0 lead. Edwards low line drive kick. It's going to take a bounce. It'll hop, and Weldon will take it at the 33. Makes some room to the 40. Spins around, and he will take it up to near the 44-yard line. So Making the Orioles re-kick that ball is an advantage for the Hawks. They'll have their best field position of this game as they'll start at their own 44-yard line, trailing 7-0 with 3:49 left to go in this first quarter. So Stevens in the offense will come back out for the Hawks, and so far they have found little success against this Avon Oriole defense. As Tommy Stevens will bend under center Luke Gregory. And he will give to Sidwell, and Sidwell will go over the left side, and he will take it up to just past midfield into Oriole territory, and the Hawks are in Avon territory for the first time tonight.
Good first down play. Again, just basic power football, just a little isolation type play over their left guard, and their offensive line attacked things pretty well. And, 6-7 yard gain on first down is what you'd always like to have from an offensive point of view.
The 2nd down and 4 for the Hawks. As Tommy Stevens bends underneath, they will bring Sidwell this time in motion. He'll take the pitch and come to the near side. He will go over the right side, and he'll be very, very close to a first down before he has brought down Matt Batustik and a few other Oriole defenders there. And it looks like he will be shy of the first down by about a half a yard. That'll bring up 3rd down and very short for Decatur Central.
Trying to mix it up here a little bit in the running game. That time they went to the sweep. A couple other times they've been in power football. The only pass I think we've seen have been the one bootleg on the first series and then a little slant pass on the second.
Stevens will watch Sidwell come in motion once again. He'll take the ball, go right over the right side. He will have the first down and more as he takes it down beyond the 40, close to the 39-yard line. And there's the first down of the evening for Decatur Central. It comes with 2:26 left to go in this first quarter.
Well, and they've done it the old-fashioned way. I mean, they're just lining up right now and trying to find out if they can handle the defensive line of Avon, and at least in that first part of this series, they did it pretty well.
We'll bring Elon Kale as now they shift out, and they will go empty backfield with Stevens still under center. They'll bring Sidwell in motion, and he will get the ball and go over left side, and nothing doing is coming around, making the tackle from the safety position is Dane Thomas for a loss of maybe a yard.
Yeah, good head. Tried to fool him there a little bit. Lined up with a kind of a strong right type look. Motioned everybody over to the left. Tried to get Avon outnumbered, but Avon handled the shift very well and got a lot of people with the football.
As they Sidwell got almost back to the line of scrimmage, so let's call it 2nd down and 10 for Decatur Central. As we approach 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go, and now a timeout is going to be called by head coach Justin Dixon of the Decatur Central Hawks. As a little bit of confusion on the offensive side of the ball will force the Hawks to call their first timeout. 1 minute, 30 seconds left in this first quarter, and it is 7-0 Avon as we now find that Ron Colley scored a touchdown against Plainfield, but the extra point was blocked, so the Quakers still leading that game by the score of 7-6. Mentioning tonight as far as Justin Dixon is concerned, he is in his 4th year at Decatur Central with a record of 21-18. Of course, Mark Bless, 24-10 in his 3rd year with Avon, 173-77 in his 23rd year overall in coaching. We'll try to give you scores as we have them in sectional number 4. The Fishers Tigers, a Hoosier Crossroads Conference rival of Avon, they are up 14-0 against Anderson, and Carmel up 7-0 in their ball game tonight. So we'll see the scores
with Warren Central.
With Warren Central. So we'll give you them as we get them on a big night of football here in Indiana. Sectional play underway as the play action pass. Stevens goes downfield, double coverage, and he lays it, and a very, very nicely thrown ball as in double coverage going down that far side, I believe was Riker Stout. He had double coverage, but a well-thrown ball from Stevens just off the fingertips as it ends up incomplete. Noblesville up 7-0 tonight, so we'll try to give you some scores as we see them throughout the night, but the big one is here, and it's going to be 3rd down and 10 for the Hawks. Minute 30 left to go in this first quarter. Here comes Stevens, pitches out to Sidwell, eludes one man, but coming in and upending Dakota is Brian Stinnett, and he limits Dakota to only about a 3-yard gain, and that's going to bring up 4th down once again for the Hawks.
Yeah, so far Avon's defense has done a very nice job with the option. They run the motion, try to beat you to the corner, and Avon has run a lot of people there. But, really just, kind of recap, we're not quite at the first quarter yet, but it's really been a pretty even game other than the one big play for the Avon offense. But other than that, Decatur's moved the football a little bit. Their defense hasn't played badly other than the one big play, and Avon has pretty much done the same on their side.
Well, they'll go for it on 4th down and 8 as Stevens, long count, drops back, fires. Ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it goes incomplete over there at the far sideline. That looked like it was Aaron Sandy. And the Orioles will take over on downs as one of the Oriole defensive linemen got a big old paw up there to knock it in the air. Sandy almost was able to come down with the ball, but it falls incomplete. So it'll be 1st and 10 Avon. They'll have the ball at their own 37-yard line, up 7-0 with 38.7 seconds remaining in this first quarter.
They're really a pretty good call. He was open and not a bad throw, so it's a good thing that the Avon defender did tip that ball.
Johnson will work right out of the shotgun on this 1st and 10. They bring Jalen Edwards in motion to the far side. Johnson takes it, gets pressure, steps up, fires, has Edwards open, and it's not Edwards, but he's going to get a pass interference. As coming over there on the far side was Cress Kimbrough, and he's going to get calling up his back was Daniel Malloy, the free safety. Just got enough of him to knock Kimbrough down and prevent that pass from being completed, but Avon will get the benefit of the pass interference call.
Well, if they continue to play the same style of defense that they're in right now, you're going to see that play probably about 5 or 6 times out here tonight, if not 10. They're motioning Edwards across. They're definitely a man-to-man. They're running a little crossing pattern out there that ends up being kind of an inadvertent pick. You've got no help by the free safety, so it's just really a matter of whether or not Avon can protect Cole Johnson long enough to let him do it and, let him make the throw. And, again, from the opposite point of view, Decatur's trying to put so much pressure on a quarterback that he doesn't have time to find that open receiver.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Orioles now at the Hawk 48-yard line. The give will be to Derek Tennant, who goes straight up the middle, and he's going to get good yardage right up the middle before he is brought down. Tackled on the play by Alex Kennedy, 5'10", 224-pound defensive lineman. Well, one of the scores we want to keep up with all night long, it happens in Terre Haute. That is going to be who one of these two teams will face. And right now, as they say in the Battle of Terre Haute, it is all tied up at 7. As Pike is up on top of Ben Davis by the score of 7-0, as that is the end of the first quarter here. And we have the same score as Avon leads Decatur Central by the score of 7-0. You're watching high school football on Audio Sports Online, week 1 of sectional action. We are in Class 5A Sectional 6, and at halftime we'll be talking about what's going on in some of the other sectional games and how these other sectionals are shaping up. Of course, if you're a Hoosier Crossroads Conference fan, this sectional, big, is one of the biggest games of the night. Is taking place about 8 miles away from here is the undefeated Brownsburg Bulldogs in a rematch with the Zionsville Eagles. That was a game that 2 weeks ago Bulldogs won by the score of 14-0, and it clinched for them the outright HCC championship. The rematch is tonight, something a little bit bigger, of course, on the line. And then, of course, we're also watching that Ben Davis versus Pike matchup. Should both Brownsburg and Ben Davis win, that would set up a rematch of last year's game, which was one for the ages, so to speak. Avon will flip the field and go the other way, and they'll have 2nd down and 5 to begin this second quarter of action. Johnson will back up. He will get the ball out, and Cody Baker has got nowhere to go as he is brought down. Tackle looks like it was by Jimmy Alexander. And it is going to be a loss on the play. Well, we talked about Ben Davis and Pike. Pike got the 7-0 lead. Ben Davis took the kickoff back for the touchdown, but the extra point is blocked, so Pike still with a 7-6 lead. Right now here, Avon with a 3rd down and 8. We'll have Cole Johnson working out of the gun with 2 wideouts to the near side. Johnson will take the snap. Pressure comes, rolls to the right, looking downfield for Jalen Edwards, and he drops it in. And Edwards with the catch. Dropped it right in between 2 Hawk defenders as Daniel Malloy was over there. Also in coverage was Stephen Kay. But a good pass by Cole Johnson dropped it right into Edwards' hands, and it's a 1st down for Avon.
Well, it looks like they're going to hang with that coverage. I don't get it. But, if that's the way they're going to play it, then I think Jalen's going to end up with a big night here tonight.
So 1st and 10, the give is to the tailback, Derek Tennant, and Derek is not going to find any room whatsoever as he's going to be stacked up for a 2-yard loss. So the Decatur Central defense, they're very aggressive up the middle. They are bringing pressure, but the Orioles, as far as the passing game is concerned, they're being able to find the holes and get the ball down the field. But right now, in a couple of running plays, we've seen the Hawk defense shoot through and catch the Orioles for some losses. It'll be 2nd down and 12. You'll have Green and Tennant in the backfield with Cole Johnson working out of the gun. Here comes the Hawks once again. They'll fire over to the left side, and that time they're trying to hit Jalen Edwards on a little screen out to the left side, a little bubble pass, but Cole threw that one a little bit, tried to lead him a little bit too much and draws up incomplete.
They're going to try and figure out ways to get Jalen the ball. That's a good play again. You're just trying to get him the ball in the open field, and right now, like I said, that's the difference in the game.
Sam Bloom is going to actually line up as a slot receiver to the left as the Orioles bring 3 wideouts into the formation. Here come the Hawks on the blitz. Picked up nicely. Johnson lays it up. He's looking for Cress Kimbrough, but it's batted down on an excellent play by Decatur Central's Stephen Kay, a 5'7", 161-pound senior. He batted that ball away before Kimbrough could reel it in for the touchdown, and it'll bring up 4th down for Avon.
Looks like a long field goal attempt.
Niles Edwards is on. This would be a 47-yard attempt for Niles Edwards. Wind is to his back. The wind has died down a little bit, but the wind now actually it's been swifting around. It might be a little bit more into his face as the wind is swifting around, and this one is going to be blown dead. The kick would have been up, but it doesn't matter because Decatur Central was offsides.
Well, it was about 5 yards short, so if they get 5 yards here, that could be to their advantage.
Avon will get a free 5 yards as outside lineman for Decatur Central took a bit of a half-step jump on that, and he's going to be flagged for it. So now it will be a 42-yard attempt, and as Coach mentioned, that ball might have been about 3 yards short as Edwards will have another chance. Good snap, good hold. This kick is up. This one's got plenty of leg, and it's good. So Avon gets a break on the offsides, and Niles Edwards puts it through from 42 yards out. And with 10:19 left to go in this first half, Avon extends their advantage to 10-0.
Yeah, very, very nice kick. Had plenty to spare that time. Wasn't any doubt. Looked like he probably could have made it from 47, but first one was a little bit short. The penalty hurt. Now Avon's got the 10-0 lead.
So Decatur Central, the Hawks, they're going to be coming back out here looking for some type of something they can do on offense. They picked up their first down on their last possession, but still have not found a whole lot to hang their heads on as far as offensively. So they'll look to see what they can do here as they get ready to take Niles Edwards' kick.
Just got another update. Carmel recovered a Warren Central fumble, and they're up now 14-0. Yeah, the biggest thing with Decatur's moved the football a little bit. They haven't had any, what we would call big plays, and Avon, that's the difference. They've had the big play. So, if they're going to continue to grind it out, I think Avon will be in good shape. Decatur seems to be right now content just to try to run the football.
That ball is going to be taken about the 15, and taking it over toward the far side is Jalen Miller. And he's going to be brought down at about the 20-yard line. So this one doesn't go in the end zone, but the result is the same for the Hawks as they will have it 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. But this time they trail by the score of 10-0 with 10:16 remaining in quarter number 2 as Tommy Stevens and the offense return to the field for Decatur Central. Stevens will keep it on the right side as a well-placed fake, and we talk about one of the big plays. He eludes a tackler, and he'll take it all the way up to midfield on a beautiful fake into the line. Stevens just legged it around the right side, took it up the sideline, and he will take it for almost 30 yards. It'll officially be 29 yards as he'll take it to the 49-yard line.
Yeah, little midline option. They're reading that down player inside, and Avon covered that part of the option very well, but if they had somebody assigned to the outside for the quarterback, they bid on the fake, and the quarterback made a great run.
So the biggest play of the night for the Hawks is Tommy Stevens on the run. Now he'll drop back to pass, fires down and overshoots a wide-open player at about the 30-yard line. As looking down, I believe Jordan Jackson was wide open down the seam. Is not an Oriole within 5-10 yards. But Stevens misfires and overthrows Jackson by about 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, that would have been a huge play for Decatur because, like we mentioned, they're down 10-0. They made the great fake. They had them wide open, and that would have brought the a little momentum back to them and got them back on board.
That's Sidwell in motion, but the give is right up the middle, and taking the ball is Eli Conlon. And Conlon will take it up for about 6 yards. Inside the 45, close to the 44-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down and 3 for the Hawks. Clock moving, 9:33 left to go first half. Avon leading 10-0, but Hawks on the move in Avon territory, but big 3rd down here for Decatur Central on this 3rd down and 3. Tommy Stevens will bend under center Luke Gregory. They'll bring Sidwell in motion. And Stevens will keep it. He'll go over the right side. He has the 1st down and will get out of bounds at the 37-yard line, moving the chains for the Hawks.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this, I doubt that it is, but, it looks like this is a play that, right now Avon's got to come up with an answer for because they've run this play successfully a couple of times, and no one seems to be assigned to the quarterback, and he's been able to take the ball up in there for big yardage. Just got another one here. Ron Colley up 14-0 or 14-7.
So Ron Colley now leading Mid-State Conference rival Plainfield. But right now DC with a 1st and 10. Sidwell in motion. Play action pass. Stevens comes over to the near side, fires downfield, has 2 receivers in the same area, so can't tell you who he was shooting for. I believe he had Jackson over there and Aaron Sandy, but maybe a little miscommunication on the route. Nonetheless, Stevens overthrows both.
Yeah, neither one of them were open either. Latchkins and I think Devin Michael had their men covered pretty well, and that might be the reason that he overthrew them.
So bring up 2nd down and 10 for Decatur Central. Ball remains at the Avon 37-yard line with 9:06 left to go in the 2nd quarter. As Sidwell back in motion once again. He'll take the handoff, goes right to the right side, and nothing doing as Brian Stinnett and a few other Oriole defenders are there to get Sidwell before he can get back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be a loss of about a half a yard to bring up 3rd down and long for the Hawks.
Decatur's trying to mix things up here a little bit, some power football, so a little bit of option they've had some success with. Some play action pass, and again they've moved the football, but Avon's done a great job not giving up a big play. So, they're letting them nickel and dime them a little bit, and they're picking up a 1st down or 2 and moving the football. But as long as they don't get on the scoreboard, it really doesn't matter.
Big set offset eye to the left, but head coach Justin Dixon is going to call his 2nd timeout as a big third down play here with 8:24 left to go in the first half, and Avon already up 10-0. Wants to make sure they get something good out of this and make sure they at least maybe get it in Andrew Tootsie's field goal range. Right now it would be a very long field goal at that, as Andrew on the season, his longest has only been 37 yards, so at least get it down, maybe get it into field goal territory, but he's still got maybe needs another 7 or 8 yards to make it a realistic attempt.
Be interesting to see how Decatur handles this situation here also, because they're definitely in 4-down territory, so I don't know if they'll try to pick it all up here in one play or if they'll, try to get a good gain here and shorten up the distance that they're going to need for fourth down.
That was the second time out for Decatur Central. They'll have one remaining in this first half. Orioles with their full complement on this third down and a long 10 yards. Call it 3rd and 11. Play action pass. Stevens drops back, fires over the middle, incomplete. Devin Michael was in coverage over there on the far sideline as the pass looked like it was intended for Aaron Sandy. It falls incomplete. It'll bring up 4th down. Might have led Sandy a little too far on that pass to the sideline. Would not have been anywhere close to a first down, but it would have made it 4th down and maybe 4 or 5 yards. As it is, it'll remain 4th down and a long 10.
Yeah, one-on-one Devin Michael's pretty tough, and I think that looked like a tight end, if I'm correct, trying to run that crossing route. He's going to have a tough time getting open with Devin on him.
So 4th down, and the Hawks will go for it, and now somebody's getting a little bit of an extra jump, and I believe that was the tight end, Jordan Jackson, as Stevens put a foot back normally to put a guy in motion, and Jackson got a little bit of a start, and that's going to cost Decatur Central 5 yards. They're going to move the ball back to just beyond the Oriole 42-yard line. That's going to bring up 4th down and 15, and this time we're going to see
They're in that tweener formation with the quarterback back.
So we're going to see Douglas get this ball away, and on a nice punt that's going to go inside to the, they'll say it went down at about the 12-yard line. So 8:11 left to go in this first half. Avon with a 10-0 lead. You're watching high school football on Audio Sports Online. Sectional 6 action taking place tonight. Pike has gone up 14-6 against Ben Davis. So big game on the top half of the bracket. Of course, we'll be talking more about what's happening in Sectional 6 at halftime, the matchups, and what we can expect. In the meantime, Avon has the football, and they're up 10-0, but they'll start at their own 12. Here's Edwards on an end around. They'll say he's down, and he might have been tripped up by his own guy. It looks like pulling around to try to make a block was Anthony Green, and he might have accidentally blocked off Jalen Edwards.
I'll tell you, that was close also, because the ball did pop up when he got tackled and ended up in the end zone. So the official called him down, so I guess he thought the ground must have caused it. But, again, that's a good play. It doesn't put him in great position, but trying to get that ball to Jalen again, man-to-man, they're going to chase him around. It could have been a big play.
Ball's back at the Oriole 1 as Johnson back to pass, comes near side looking for Edwards, and pass is intercepted, and still running is finally knocking it down. He's seeing the interception on the near side was Stephen Kay. He was in coverage of Jalen Edwards. He knocked the ball away, saw the flag come up, and basically stopped instead of continuing the play. I think he knew it was against him, but you still have to continue the play. And as it is, the Orioles are going to get the benefit of the pass interference call and get them out of a big hole. They had it down at their own 1-yard line, 2nd down and long, and they're going to get some free yardage in the first down.
Well, I'm going to beat a dead horse here, but evidently Coach Bless and Coach Moore and I are all we're on the same boat. I mean, they're on the 2-yard line and they're throwing the deep ball, and I would do exactly the same thing. They're still playing bump and run coverage 2 yards off with no free safety help, and he ended up with an interception there with the interference, but I don't think he can stay with Jalen.
I'll bring up 1st and 10 as the Orioles get a first down. Here's the pitch. Coming over near side is Derek Tennant. He's going to be brought down on a nice play. As coming in, shooting across to make the tackle, I believe was Austin Day. And it's only a gain of about a yard for the Orioles. Other action in Sectional 6, Brownsburg leads Zionsville 3-0 after the first quarter. The winner of that game plays the winner of the Ben Davis Pike game, which currently Pike is leading. Here, 10-0. Avon with the lead, 6:44 and counting here in the second quarter as Johnson works on a 2nd and 9. Good block, fires downfield, looking for Jalen Edwards, but the ball too far down the middle of the field. And good defense there by Decatur Central as the defender able to block Jalen from getting to the ball that was thrown a little bit more toward the middle of the field. Looked like it was Daniel Malloy once again in coverage with Jalen Edwards. I'm going to bring up 3rd down and 9 for Avon.
Well, Decatur did what they had to. I mean, they did not get a sack on Cole Johnson, but they put enough pressure on him. He rolled to his left, which is a little tougher throw, but they also forced him to throw the ball a little early, and he also had to throw off his back foot.
Edwards and Nolan Woolley are lined up to the near side for Avon on this 3rd down and 9. And here's the give. Cody Baker to the 30, to the 40, and Baker is off to the races. Can he get it to the end zone? He can, as it is an 83-yard touchdown run by Cody Baker.
Well, similar to what we've been talking about here all night, there's no free safety. And, with that style of defense, they're putting a lot of pressure up front. Avon blocked it so well that time that Cody hit the line of scrimmage and there was no one there, and then it was just a matter of it being a foot race, and once he got into the secondary, I don't think he was going to be denied.
Jack Weldon and Daniel Malloy gave Baker a chase, and if they had another 5 or 10 yards, they might have caught up with him, but Baker takes it 83 yards to the house as Niles Edwards is on for the point after. The kick is up, and the kick is good. 6:22 remains in this first half. Avon now off the front by the score of 17-0. You're watching sectional football on Audio Sports Online. I want to remind you that fans for Decatur Central and Avon, if you've missed any of the action all season long, you can get an on-demand podcast at audiosportsonline.net. It's available totally free of charge, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Just go to audiosportsonline.net. We'll have all the games up for the entire school year, all season long. That's on audiosportsonline.net. I want to remind you, basketball not that far away, just about a month away for basketball season. As we find out, Carmel up on Warren Central now, 14-7. We will have a whole lot of basketball for you on Audio Sports Online, but still, we have a whole lot of football left for you here tonight. Avon now up 17-0. And Decatur Central now going to need to see if they can get some offense. They had a nice drive on that last one. We saw a lot there from Tommy Stevens with the run.
Also, notice the umbrellas have come out, so it's nice to be up here in the press box.
As that kick is going to be taken by an up back at the 21 and then dropped as coming down with the ball for Decatur Central. Looked like Ian Mendez. And it will be 1st and 10 for the Decatur Central Hawks at the 29-yard line. 6:19 remaining in this first half, and the Orioles extend their lead to 17-0. So Stevens back under center as Sidwell will go in motion. And the give is to the halfback as coming across with the carry, who I believe was Eli Conlon, for a pickup of about 5 on the play. He'll take it up to the 34-yard line, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 5.
Yeah, Decatur's got to get on the board here. Whether they take the rest of the quarter here just kind of, trying to run the football whether they try to go up on top. But, 17-0 lead is a pretty commanding lead. If they're going to get back in it, it's very important that they score on this drive.
Sidwell back in motion, but the give is to the tailback, and taking it and getting it across the 40 for the first down is, I believe, Cameron Evans with the carry. And it will be a first down for the Hawks at their own 41-yard line.
They've run the football tonight with some success, and it looks like that's the way they want to continue to do it. They do have to be careful here, even though it's only the second quarter, that if this is the style they want to go with tonight, is that they don't run out of time.
1st and 10 for the Hawks. Sidwell in motion. Stevens on the option, pitches it out to Sidwell. Sidwell's going to gain a couple of yards, but that's about all before coming in to make the tackle is Matt Batustik for the Orioles. Gain of 2 for Dakota Sidwell.
They've handled that option very well. The midline option with the quarterback carrying the ball has been a little tougher, so I don't know if they'll go to a pass here or come back to that because they have had some success.
Ball is spotted at the Hawk 42-yard line. Clock moving. 4:45 remains in this first half. As Sidwell is in motion, the give is to the tailback who breaks through, and he will take it across midfield into Oriole territory on a very, very nice run right up the gut. As trying to see who that was, I believe it was Eli Conlon with the carry for the Hawks.
Yeah, ran hard, good quick hitter. I think fooled everybody. Normally on a 3rd and long, you're throwing the football or going outside, and they hit the quick hitter right up the middle for a first down.
So 1st and 10 for DC. As back to pass to Stevens. Over the middle, fires incomplete. Looking for, I believe, his tight end, Jordan Jackson, once again. Good coverage there by Gabe Laxton's for Avon to bring up 2nd and 10. Laxton's keeping step for step. Gabe's done a good job since being inserted into the starting lineup for Avon. They did that about 4 or 5 games ago, and the sophomore cornerback has played very, very well for Avon. He was stride for stride with Jordan Jackson there.
Yeah, very, very solid, very consistent in the games he's played this year.
2nd and 10, again, straight up the middle. Eludes one tackler to the 30, 25-20, to the 15, to the 10, and finally gang tackled inside the 10-yard line down to about the 8. As trying to see, again, very difficult with the carry.
That's a fullback again.
Eli Conlon.
Yeah, same play they ran before. Coach Dixon's done a good job. When he finds a play that they're successful with, they may get away from it for a play or two, but they're going to come back to it, and that was a good play. Again, good quick hitter. Safety came up, missed the tackle. He broke into the open field. Fortunately, Avon was able to chase him down before he scored.
1st and goal for the Hawks as Conlon's run gets them in scoring position. Here's Dakota. Dakota over the right side, takes it inside the 5, close to the 2-yard line before he can be brought down. Good hard run by Dakota Sidwell. Going to bring up 2nd and goal.
Well, Decatur's, they've got a nice drive going here. They've established the running game a little bit. They're starting to pick up a little momentum. They're playing with a little more confidence right now, and if they can get one on the board here, it gives them a chance to get back in the game.
High backfield behind Stevens this time as he'll give it to the tailback, and into the end zone for the touchdown is Decatur Central. Cameron Evans, I believe, was the tailback, and he simply took it over the right side, and from 3 yards out, Evans puts the Hawks on the board. So a 3-yard run as the Hawks pretty much doing all their damage on the ground on that drive. The big one, the Eli Conlon run that took it inside the 10, and Evans finishes it off for Decatur Central. Tootsie on for the point after the kick is up, and the kick is good. 3:20 left to go in the first half, and Decatur Central is on the board. They trail Avon by the score of 17-7. You're watching high school football on Audio Sports Online. Want to thank for Avon, some of our regular season sponsored. Reynolds Body Shop, they've been a proud supporter of Avon football during the regular season. And, of course, the Hendricks County Flyer, as they've been serving all of Hendricks County, allowing us to bring you many of these Hendricks County high school football games. Of course, some of the as I mentioned, some of the other Hendricks County scores or schools involved. Brownsburg playing Zionsville, Plainfield in Roncalli. One of the big matchups tonight is in Danville, where Chittard is playing Danville, a matchup of 7-2 teams. Danville, bit of a surprise, as Coach Sumner up there has his team playing very, very good football. They ended up in a tie for the Sagamore Conference. They ended up in the tie for the Sagamore Conference. And they're playing a big, big game against Chittard, ranked number 3 in the state. And it is 28-0 Chittard as I get the score from that game. So Danville, who has never beaten Chittard, 10-0 in the last 15 years, they're on the losing end tonight. Kickoff is taken by Dane Thomas. Thomas will take it just across the 20-yard line, or be stopped right at the 20-yard line. So Avon back on offense. They lead 17-7. 3:13 remains in this first half. Avon with a full complement of timeouts. They will start this drive on their own 20-yard line.
We fumbled. Decatur has the ball.
Well, it shows you what I know. They say they fumbled it. You see, when you're watching about 16 things, we didn't see
Absolutely.
it. But we did not see that one at all.
We are getting a lot of help up here tonight. We've got Clark Griffin on the video and Denny Thompson giving us scores, and we've got a couple other cheerleaders up here, Mike H.
We're watching a whole lot, and I apologize. We did not see the fumble. Thomas fumbles. The Hawks get the ball, and they take it on the first play. They run it over the right side. And they will get 3 yards on the play. So trying to keep up with games going on. As we mentioned, Chittard up on Danville. North now up on top of South at Terre Haute, 14-7. And right now, Decatur Central in excellent field position after picking up the fumble on the kickoff return by Dean Thomas. They had it 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line as the give is again to the tailback, but nothing doing, as he's going to be stopped up. Dean Thomas and several other Oriole defenders there to bring him down. Mac Duffin also in there. It's going to be maybe no gain on the play, as I believe that was Eli Conlon with the carry for no gain on the play.
Well, Avon must have made an adjustment. That's that little quick hitter to the fullback that Decatur had so much success with on the last drive, and that time Avon stuffed it right at the line of scrimmage.
So it'll be 3rd down and 6 for the Hawks. Back to pass. Stevens looks, fires right side, throws the ball a little bit behind, but it looks like a nice catch made there over on that far sideline. Aaron Sandy with the catch.
A little short.
And he will be just shy. The ball will be spotted just inside the 11. So that's going to bring up 4th down and 1, and an interesting decision here, 17-7. And it looks like Coach Dixon is going to elect to go for it on this 4th and 1, a minute 23. Avon will have the ball to begin the second half. Here's the give, and tripped up in the backfield, but falling forward and maybe getting the first down. Let's see. They will unpile, and it is a first down by just a half a step.
Wow.
As I believe Cameron Evans went bowling forward, got tripped, but fell forward, and he fell forward for a first down.
Yeah, one of the Avon defenders got great penetration, got into the backfield and tripped him up, but he kept his balance and, was able to fight for the first down.
So as the umbrellas are out and the drizzle falls, the Hawks have a 1st and goal. That is Sidwell, but they'll give it from the wing back, and nothing doing as the Orioles were there to bring him down as they brought a wing back trying to do a little bit of a counteraction.
Well, when they had done that before, they started off in a strong right, shifted everybody left, and brought the wing back in motion, ran a sweep to the left, and this time they tried to get Avon to thinking they were going to run the same play and tried to cross him up with a little inside reverse that Avon was very ready for.
I believe carrying at that time was Conlon, and Justin Dixon, the coach of the Hawks, is going to call his third and final timeout with 22.9 seconds remaining in this first half. Hawks in excellent field position after Dane Thomas fumbled the kickoff after the Hawks ran it in from 3 yards out by Cameron Evans. Decatur Central with a golden opportunity here. They went for it on 4th and 1, eschewing the points. But now they're facing 2nd and goal, backed up now to the 14-yard line with 22.9 seconds, as I mentioned, remaining in this first half. And Coach Dixon has used his third and final timeout.
Well, you may see another pass or two. I'd be shocked if they ran the football without having a timeout. They probably could run the ball once and spike it and still have an opportunity to kick a field goal, because I know they'd like to have a touchdown here, but if nothing else, they want to at least come off with 3 points and, take it in with a one-possession deficit.
Reminder at halftime, we'll take a look at some of the other sectional play, but see what happened last week in both the Mid-State and the Hoosier Crossroad Conference, and what is happening in sectional number 6. Second down and goal from the 14-yard line as Stevens bends under center, drops back, fires, fade route into the end zone, incomplete. Led his receiver just a little bit too much on that far side. Gabe Laxton's was in coverage. I believe Riker Stout was over there on the far side. And it will be 3rd and goal as Stevens laid that up and just out of reach of his wide receiver over there on that far corner.
Yeah, he did have him by a step or two and, needed a little bit better throw. Not a badly thrown ball, but just needed to be thrown in there a little bit better, and they might have come up with a touchdown.
19.1 seconds on this 3rd and goal. Stevens back, same pattern, same play. Penalty flag comes in. The pass is complete for the touchdown. And a flag on the play. This one was while the ball was in the air. And so we will see, I believe, it's very difficult to see the Decatur Central numbers with that white with the gold numerals, but I believe that was Aaron Sandy that brought it down.
Well, Stevens came back, and, that was a perfectly thrown ball. He put that ball right on the money, right on time. Came back with exactly the same play.
The penalty is pass interference against the Orioles. The touchdown stands. They will assess the penalty on the kickoff. 13.4 seconds remain as Sandy hauls it in. As Tootsie is on for the point after. Low snap, good hold, kick is up. And the kick is good. So the fumble by Dane Thomas on the kickoff results in a touchdown for Decatur Central. And with 12.7 seconds remaining in this first half, they cut into the Avon lead. They now trail 17-14. A 14-yard touchdown pass, Tommy Stevens to Aaron Standy. And just like that, Decatur Central is back in this football game. Avon is going to be back to receive this kick. They will also have the kick to begin the second half.
Well, Coach Dixon obviously knows his team and their strength very well. I questioned earlier when they were running the football with just over 5 minutes to go in a half, and maybe they needed to hurry up a little bit to get on the board, and he knew what he was doing. They took it down, ran the football almost exclusively on the drive, and scored and came right back and picked up the fumble and took it in, and, were able to put 2 touchdowns up here in the last 5 minutes of the half. So they're back in the game. The last quarter, the second quarter here, the last half of it has certainly been dominated by Decatur after Avon had pretty well, had their way the first quarter and a half.
So Decatur Central is going to be able to kick off from the Avon 45 as Zach Autry runs up, puts a right foot in it, and tries a long field goal attempt. It's going to be a little wide right as he just sends it out the back of the end zone, and Avon will have it 1st and 10 from their own 20. 12.7 seconds remain in this first half. Avon with all 3 of their timeouts, Coach, but I'd imagine they're just going to head into the locker room and see what they can come out with here in the second half.
I would agree with you. You know, there's been that give and take that we talked about. I think both teams will go in, both coaching staffs will go in a little bit at halftime and have an idea what they can be successful with and what they need to fix.
Johnson is under center, and he will simply hand the ball off to Derek Tennant. Tennant will take it to the 25, up to about the 29 on a good second effort, but the clock will run down. But quickly, head coach Mark Bless is going to call a timeout with 2.1 seconds remaining. So he gets a 9-yard run from Derek Tennant and calls timeout. That is the first of the 3 allotted to the Avon Orioles. So they'll have one more play that they can pull off. And as Coach mentioned, with guys like Devin Michael, Jalen Edwards, they have some speed burners that if they can get into the secondary of Decatur Central, they can do some damage. It's going to just take a good strike from quarterback Cole Johnson. So we'll see what Coach Bless draws up here on 2nd and 1 and 2.1 seconds remaining on the clock. So we'll see what happens here as the ball spotted on the 29-yard line. It is Nolan Woolley that goes to the far side, and it's Jalen Edwards to the near side. Johnson in the gun, flanked by Derek Tennant and Anthony Green. As he will take the snap, looks, fires downfield, looking. Sam Bloom is the only guy that could be close. And it falls incomplete, and that's the end of the first half. Avon jumps out to a 17-0 lead, only to watch Decatur Central come back with 14 unanswered points as we end the first half of play. And Avon out in front of Decatur Central by the score of 17-14. Well, it is halftime here at Avon, and normally we would have all sorts of nice spots and commercials and all sorts of other fun things. Instead, we're going to talk about, I have no idea, but we're going to get Coach Shelbourne involved, and we may let him jump on his soapbox if he so likes here, and we'll talk about a few things. One of the things I do want to talk about as far as Avon fans are concerned is tomorrow morning at Perry Meridian, the Avon girls volleyball team will be playing a sectional semifinal. They will be playing Pike. That match will begin at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Avon currently ranked number 3 in the state of Indiana. They advanced. They defeated Decatur Central in their sectional opener back on Tuesday by the score 25-6, 25-10, 25-18. So the Avon volleyball team, they will be playing Pike in a sectional semifinal match. That begins at 10 a.m. The other sectional semifinal is Southport against Perry Meridian. And then the sectional championship game tomorrow for Class 4A Section 11. That match will take place at 7 o'clock tomorrow night at Perry Meridian. So we wish the best of luck to the Avon volleyball team. Meanwhile, we'll take a quick look and tell you what's happening in Sectional 6 tonight. Of course, we mentioned that Ben Davis is playing at Pike. Last score we got, Pike was leading that game. Brownsburg is at Zionsville. The winner of those two games, they will face each other next week. Of course, Decatur Central trails Avon this at halftime by the score 17-14, and the winner of this game will be guaranteed playing a team from Terre Haute, either Terre Haute North or Terre Haute South. Those two teams are playing each other tonight. Last score we got, North was up on South by the score of 14-7. What does that mean for these two schools? Well, if Avon can hold on to the lead, no matter what happens tonight, they will have to travel to Terre Haute to play next week. If Decatur Central can come back and win this game, then there's a whole host of different scenarios there. Decatur Central, if Terre Haute North continues to hold serve in that game, Decatur Central would host Terre Haute North next week. If South can come back and win that game, then Decatur Central would have to travel to Terre Haute South. So some interesting scenarios there as we look through Sectional 6. Of course, if you're Hendricks County, Hoosier Crossroads Conference teams, a lot of the other action is in Sectional 4. And really, when we look at that, and I'm going to bring Coach in there because some of the stuff we were talking about before this game got underway, we look at sectionals and we look at records. And, of course, in Sectional 6, we've got 4 teams all in the top part of the bracket. You've got Ben Davis at 8-1. Of course, the Brownsburg Bulldogs are 9-0. They're playing a 7-2 Zionsville team and a 6-3 Pike team. So a very top-heavy, top-laden bracket record-wise. Whereas on the bottom side, Avon 5-4, Terre Haute North 5-4, and we can even go to Sectional 4, where the only 2 teams with winning records are Fishers and Hamilton Southeastern. And should they hold serve and hold chalk, they'll be playing each other next week in the sectional semifinal. So I know a lot of what we talk about and that we look about as far as sectionals. And, of course, you've been around this game a long, long time. We've talked about possible seeding because if you're a team like Brownsburg, if you're a team like Ben Davis, you have a very, very successful season, and here you are, you're going to be probably meeting each other possibly. Well, Pike right now doing a good job, but you could be facing each other in a semifinal game.
Well, seeding is something that comes up every year, and maybe I'm in the minority. I don't know. I was always more concerned about what sectional you were assigned to. This in the 8 years I was here, I think we were in 3 different sectionals, and it's a little difficult that way. The seeding argument, I can understand. If you've had a successful season, you'd like to be rewarded for it a little bit, even though when you get to tournament play, it's really up in the air. But I think one of the things that makes it tough, I mean, if you look just at our sectional and Sectional 6, you've got teams from 4 different conferences, and that would be difficult to seed. Somebody with a better record, how do you judge your competition? Schools within the Hoosier Crossroads Conference don't play anybody outside, so I can understand the seeding argument. I know they argue that it's done in wrestling and other sports, but you have so many other opportunities, so many matches. I think it's a little easier. There's the argument that you can use the Sagarin ratings, but again, if it were up to me, I'd like to see the sectionals a little bit better balanced, and I think if you can, and I'm not going to mention numbers and get myself in trouble, but I think for the for the football fan, you can look at some sectionals and say, well, that's a pretty tough sectional, and look at other sectionals and think, gee, that one's not quite as difficult. When you're lining up, as you are in, our sectional is very tough, but when you're looking at Carmel and Warren Central opening with each other, and the winner of that having to play Warren Central, that certainly speaks highly for that sectional. And when, a couple years ago you had Hamilton Southeastern and Carmel playing each other early, so there's an argument. There's always arguments either way about how you end up doing it. This year, just as it turns out in Sectional 6, it is a little top heavy on the top, but in the bottom. You've got Decatur Central that's traditionally a very strong football program. Avon is as well, and they're certainly very capable, I think, of still beating anybody on any given night. Terre Haute North beat Warren Central earlier in the year, and, I think that either Terre Haute team at home would be a tough matchup for anybody because you still got to get on the road and head on over there and play them. So, sectional time is an interesting time. I guess my attitude when I was coaching is you're going to have to beat them sometime anyway. It was always really tougher for me as a head coach. I always like lining up with the good teams because it was a lot easier to get your kids ready to play because it's tough convincing kids sometimes that other team might be capable of beating you if you don't play your best, if you turn the ball over and that other team, gets a break or two or plays to their best, and it's tournament time and everybody picks it up a notch. So, it is what it is. This sectional is tough, and anybody that's going to win this sectional is going to have to put together 3 good games. I don't care who it is you line up with, and it does make for some interesting matchups each week. So, we'll see how it goes. We already have some interesting scores already, and next week we'll line it up again and match it up again and see how it goes.
And of course, coming after this year, this sectional will be, for lack of a better term, pretty well blown up. As you're going to have, looks like 3 schools. You're going to have Brownsburg, Avon, and likely Ben Davis all move into Class 6A. So that will mean a big change as far as teams like Decatur Central, who will be staying in Class 5A. This sectional is going to look a whole lot different next year, and of course, some people say, well, the balance might come with you get some of these schools moving into 6A, a little bit of better redistribution of some of the other schools in Class 5A. That maybe we'll see a little bit better balance.
Well, if nothing else, we may be ready for a change. We've had somewhat the same system. You do change sectionals every 2 years now, and there are some minor changes. But the 6A, 5A, it'll be interesting to see how it works out.
As we mentioned in Sectional 6, we do have some halftime scores. Of course, the big game that directly involves the game we are playing here at Avon, Terre Haute North is leading Terre Haute South at the half by the score of 21-7. Should North manage to win that game, then today's game, if it is Avon that can stay the win, they will have to go to Terre Haute North. Decatur Central can come back. Terre Haute North will have to play at Decatur Central. Just some of those wacky things that they do when they start talking about who gets a home game. Zionsville leading Brownsburg. Bulldogs came into this game with an unblemished record of 9-0, and Zionsville up 7-3 against Brownsburg, but that is at the half. Ben Davis trails Pike 14-6 at the half, and a couple of other games of note. Carmel up on Warren Central by the score of 14-7, and Noblesville leads Westfield by the score of 7-6. And we kind of talked about how this bracket might be a little top-heavy with the likes of Ben Davis and Brownsburg. Well, it's the two quote-unquote underdog teams that have the lead at the half.
Well, you never know, and I think back to my last year, and, record-wise, it was not the kind of year that we wanted to have, and we came out and got what everybody would consider to be a bad draw, and we ended up beating Ben Davis in the opener. We went up to Pike and beat Pike the second week, and then came back here in a game you think we'd be fired up to play when we're playing Brownsburg, and Brownsburg had a good season that year, but I don't think they were considered, at least at that time, up to the level that they're at right now, and we went out and laid an egg. So, you just can never tell from week to week how your kids are going to play or who's going to play, and I guarantee you when anybody turns on the news tonight or picks up the newspaper tomorrow morning, there's going to be some scores that are going to surprise a lot of people around the state because, again, it's tournament time and just about anything can happen.
Well, let's take a look at these two conferences. We'll start with the Mid-State Conference. How did they finish the year? The Mid-State Conference, your conference champion is the Greenwood Woodmen. They came one game from having an unblemished season, but they fell in their final game of the season. They fell to Whiteland by the score of 56-35. But Greenwood is your Mid-State Conference champion. They finished the season with a 5-1 conference record. They were 8-1 overall. You had a three-way tie in the Mid-State for second place. Martinsville, Whiteland, and the Decatur Central Hawks all finished the conference record with identical 4-2 records. Plainfield then came in with a 3-3 conference record. Franklin 1-5. And the Pioneers of Mooresville were winless in the conference. Meanwhile, Decatur Central, they finished their season 4-5. Of course, all four of those wins were conference wins. Martinsville 7-2 on the year. Whiteland 6-3. Plainfield finished 5-4 after a very strong start. Franklin 3-6, and Mooresville was 1-8. Last week, Decatur Central defeated Franklin by the score of 40-14. Martinsville knocked out Plainfield 42-0. Mooresville 31. Franklin County 12, and Whiteland 56, Greenwood 35. Action tonight in sectional play involving Mid-State Conference teams. Of course, the Hawks are here at Avon. Whiteland is at Columbus North. Martinsville is at Center Grove. Bloomington North is at Franklin. Plainfield is at Roncalli. Roncalli up the last time we saw that score. Greenwood is at Owen Valley. And up in Lebanon, the Mooresville Pioneers are taking on the Lebanon Tigers. In the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, this conference was decided a couple of weeks ago when Brownsburg defeated Zionsville 14-0. The Bulldogs finished the regular season undefeated 9-0. Himmelin Southeastern and Zionsville finished in second place with identical 7-2 records. Fishers was in third place at 6-3. The Orioles of Avon 5-4. Noblesville finished the season 4-5. Lafayette, Jeff, and Westfield followed at 3-6. McCutcheon 1-8 on the season, and the Harrison Raiders finished this season without a win. They finished 0-9. In action last week, the Bulldogs capped off a very, very strong season. They went to Fishers, and they thoroughly dominated the Tigers. They won that game by the score of 31-0. Hamilton Southeastern went to McCutcheon, had no problem with the Mavericks winning 56-13. Noblesville kept Harrison winless on the season as they shut out the Raiders 36-0. Westfield, who has played teams tough all season long, they knocked off Lafayette Jefferson last week 35-28, and Avon fell in their regular season finale by the score of 31-23 at Zionsville. Sectional action involving Hoosier Crossroads Conference teams tonight. McCutcheon is at Harrison. Noblesville is at Westfield. We mentioned Noblesville up 7-6 in that game. Fishers is at Anderson. Last score we had at that, Fishers was up in that game as well. Hamilton Southeastern is at Lafayette Jeff. Zionsville is at Brownsburg in one of the marquee matchups, and it's Zionsville that was leading that game by the score of 7-3. And, of course, the Hawks are here at Avon playing the Avon Orioles. That's what's happening in the Mid-State Conference and the Hoosier Crossroads Conference tonight. Our score at the half is Avon 17, Decatur Central 14. And once again, we want to remind our Avon Oriole fans that the Avon volleyball team, they will be at Perry Meridian tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. as they play Game 1 of the sectional semifinal match. They will play the Pike Red Devils. That game again, that match starting at 10 a.m. They'll face the winner of Game 2 of the sectional semifinal as Southport takes on host Perry Meridian, with the sectional championship game to be decided at 7 o'clock on Saturday. The Avon Oriole volleyball team has been one of the strongest in the state of Indiana now for several years, and Beth Prince and the Orioles, again, very, very strong this season. Decatur Central making their way out onto the field. Avon will have the ball to receive. They will be receiving, I should say, the second half kickoff. We'll see what happens there as we've taken you around what's happening, some of the sectional games. On a cold, cold night, we've seen some umbrellas at times. Not quite what it was here, Coach, a couple of weeks ago when McCutcheon was here and the cold and the rain and all that, but still a pretty chilly night.
Yeah, the weather is much better. Actually, that's one of the things I'm kind of interested in following that Zionsville-Brownsburg game, because that was played on the same night on a grass field. And, Brownsburg ended up winning 14-0. So, the field conditions do have a lot to do with it. The turf field certainly makes it at least equal for each teams, because you're getting sure footing, and even in the weather you're going to have good conditions out here. So should be a good second half. Decatur came back that last quarter, kind of balanced the score up here a little bit, even though Avon is ahead 17-14. I think the one thing we have to kind of watch out here a little bit in the second half is, Avon's strength is also one of the things I think to be concerned about a little bit, because offensively they scored on two big plays. Decatur has been able to come out here, though, I think, and pretty well dominate the line of scrimmage, and they've run the football pretty successfully, and they haven't thrown a lot, but the last touchdown pass by Stevens was right on the money, and, they scored in the last 20 seconds of the half. So Decatur has, I think, went into the locker room after being down 17-0. They went into the locker room, I think, feeling pretty upbeat and feeling like they could compete. And it'll be interesting to see how Avon does, because after kind of dominating early with some big plays and getting up 17-0 and probably feeling pretty good about things, now find even though they're ahead, the confidence had to be shook there just a little bit. And I'm sure that's one of the things the coaches went in at halftime and tried to get them to play, or they're going to try and get them to play the second half like they played early in the game when they got that 17-0 lead.
Avon got this early lead on their first drive as they held Decatur Central to a 3-and-out on the opening drive of the football game. Avon's first possession resulted in a 46-yard touchdown pass from Cole Johnsons to Jalen Edwards, and the Orioles were up 7-0. After both teams traded a couple of punts, Avon finally was able to get the ball, and they marched it down the field as Cody Baker ran off marched it down the field. It was Cody Baker on the big play, as Coach mentioned, an 83-yard touchdown run, and Avon was quickly up 17-0 after a 42-yard Niles Edwards field goal. But then It was Decatur Central coming back. Cameron Evans on a 3-yard run gave the Hawks their first score of the football game. They trailed 17-7. And on the ensuing kickoff, Dane Thomas fumbled the ball at their Oriole 20-yard line, recovered by Decatur Central. It took them about 5 plays, but Tommy Stevens hit Aaron Sandy on a little fade route into the corner, and it was capped off a drive that for the first turnover of the game. It belonged to Decatur Central picking it up and converting that turnover into points. They come up with 14 unanswered points in that last part of the second quarter, and they trail at the half 17-14 as both teams are getting ready for the second half kickoff. I want to remind you, we want to thank our regular season sponsors of Avon Oriole football. That would be Reynolds Body Shop. They've been a proud supporter of Oriole football all during the regular season. We like to thank them for their support during the regular season. And, of course, the Hendricks County Flyer, as they've been able to bring Hendricks County High School football all season long. So we like to thank the Hendricks County Flyer.
A couple more scores here. Center Grove scored early in the second half. They're leading Martinsville 20-6, and Hamilton Southeastern is a little bit of a surprise. They're ahead, but it's only 21-13 over Lafayette Jeff at the half. Fishers is up 21-0 over Anderson at the half.
Of course, that game is for Hamilton Southeastern is at Jeff. Southeastern 2 weeks in a row having to make that trip up to Lafayette. They played McCutcheon last week and now having to go back and play a Jeff team that plays very well at home, as Autry puts a foot into it, and it'll be taken and then given up to Devin Michael. Michael almost lost it, but then managed to corral it, and he will take it up to the 22-yard line, and that's where Avon will begin this drive, 1st and 10.
Yeah, that wasn't a real clean handoff. That ball got bobbled a little bit, but he did get it back in his possession and get the ball up over the 20-yard line where Avon will start their drive.
Cole Johnson will bring the offense out. Orioles were up 17-0, 14 unanswered Hawk points. Have made it a 17-14 game as the Orioles will give it. And coming over the right side, Anthony Green. Green gets the first down and more as he takes it up above past the 40 to close to the 41-yard line. A pickup of about 16, 17 yards.
Yeah, I think that's his first carry of the night, just a little fullback trap. He's got what appears to be a little cast on his arm, and, I don't know, if he's having trouble hanging on to the ball or not. He's in there, obviously, because he's a tough kid and a great blocker, but that's his first carry, and he broke it for a long run.
So 1st and 10 now for Avon as they take it beyond the 40-yard line, goes to the 41. Johnson out of the gun, keeps it, eludes the tackle, goes to the right side, picks up about 6-7 yards before going out of bounds as he eluded, I believe, Jimmy Alexander. Alexander might have had a shot at Johnson in the backfield, but Cole, big, strong kid, eluded the tackle, picks up 8 yards on the run.
Yeah, very, very athletic play. Tried to run a little bit of, fake inside with the quarterback keeper, trying to get that backside defensive end to bite down on the fake, and he didn't do that. But Cole just athletically just beat the defender and took it around corner for a good gain.
2nd down and 2 for the Orioles. Ball at the 49-yard line, just underway, third quarter. Orioles leading 17-14. Give is to the tailback. Here's Derek Tennant, and he's just going to bowl right up the middle. He had a big blocker in Jake Higginbotham, his offensive guard, leading the way, and Tennant will take it all the way down inside the 40 to the 39-yard line.
Yeah, Anthony Green leading up in there, and that's mostly what he's done out here tonight. Been a good lead blocker, and he led him right up into the hole for a good gain.
So quickly, the Orioles, after 3 plays, are in Hawk territory at the 39-yard line. As Johnson, long count, gives to the tailback. Here's Derek Tennant, and Tennant once again, he'll simply take it up the middle inside the 35, close to the 33-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd down and about 4.
Yeah, it looks like Coach Bless and his staff got into him a little bit at halftime, and they've come out here pretty motivated, pretty fired up. Good basic football, just kind of running the ball right at Decatur, trying to reestablish the dominance that they showed early in the game, and they've put together a nice little drive here so far.
bring up second down and 4 as Johnson will give it to Tennant. Tennant breaks through, and it's a saving tackle at about the 23-yard line. Xavier Batty with the carry.
Doing some good things. The offensive line for Avon right now is attacking pretty well. Decatur spent most of the night in a 6 defensive lineman front. They're playing a 6-2, which is why their corners are ended up being in man-to-man coverage, and they caused some problems for Avon early. But on this drive right now, Avon's offensive line has handled things very well, and they've been dominating things up front.
So it's 1st and 10 for the Orioles at the 21-yard line. As the give is to Cody Baker, and Baker will take it inside the 20, close to the 18-yard line, as the Hawks broke through the line, but the Baker was already through, and he'll pick up a gain of about 3. So call it second down, about 7 yards to go. Ball at the 18-yard line. Clock shows 9:33 remaining in this third quarter. Opening drive of the second half as Avon began this drive at their own 22-yard line, and quickly they've marched it inside the red zone of Decatur Central. They have it second down and about 7 to go as Johnson bends under center. And he will give it to Derek Tennant. Tennant's going to be met and dropped in a hurry as Alex Kennedy, I believe, was there to make the tackle.
Yeah, somebody missed up front. I don't know if they slanted that front or we had a missed assignment, but the defensive lineman for Decatur Central just came clean, hit Derek Tennant for a 4-yard loss, and we're awfully lucky that he was able to hang on to the football.
So bring it 3rd and 11. Nolan Woolley to the near side. Jalen Edwards to the far side. It's Green and Tennant behind Johnson. Johnson, play action pass, and coming in from the blind side and making a great tackle for the sack. Jack Weldon came in, and he got Cole from the blind side, and a big, big loss will push the Orioles all the way back to the 33.
Well, I like the call. They're trying to go deep to Jalen again. They're still in that bump and run coverage, but Decatur's countered that, by putting the kind of pressure on Cole Johnson that they do. Must have been a missed assignment that time. Defensive end came totally clean off the backside, and again, we're lucky Cole was able to hang on to the football. He never saw the tackle coming.
Fourth down, and Avon's going to go for it. Johnson back to pass, fires downfield, has Edwards, but he's going to be shy of the first down as they will spot the ball at about the 13-yard line. He's going to be 2 yards short, and Decatur Central is going to take over on downs. So 4th and a long ways to go. They get the matchup, and Johnson delivers it to Edwards, but a good tackle made shy of the first down marker will give the ball back to Decatur Central.
We'll change the style a little bit also. Instead of the play-action pass and taking a little longer for the play to develop, that was just a real quick throw to Jalen Edwards in the open field. Their tackler made a good tackle to keep him from getting the first down. Got an illegal substitution.
So it will be a penalty, an illegal substitution penalty against Decatur Central. So they hit the ball, and now they're going to be backed up even further inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. It'll be 1st and 15.
Well, this is a good time for Avon's defense to take advantage of the field position, and I'm sure that they'll be very aggressive and attack the Decatur offense.
It's Dakota Sidwell who gets the ball. Dakota will go and pick up maybe a couple of yards on the play before he is brought down. In there, Mac Duffin is in there for the tackle. Pick up of maybe a couple of yards. It'll bring up 2nd and 13.
Yeah, Avon's defense right now, they want to continue to be aggressive, but the thing they don't want to do is give up a big play. So if they can just be solid, run to the football, line up, protect the correct gaps, they should be in good shape, field positions on their side.
Sidwell in motion, but the give is to the tailback who will take it up. That is Eli Conlon, and Conlon's not going to get but maybe a yard or two, and that's going to bring – he'll get it back to close to the original line of scrimmage. It's going to bring up third down. They'll give him another yard and say 3rd down and 9.
Yeah, with it still being relatively early in the second half, I would look for Decatur here to be somewhat conservative. If they do throw the football, I'm sure it'll be a high percentage type thing, but they might even be content here just to run the football and punt.
Well, that is Aaron Sandy is a wide out to the far side, and now they will split Dakota Kidwell out to a wing left. And now penalty flags go as the Oriole defenders say somebody moved on the Hawk offensive line, and they will be correct.
Yeah, the umpire agreed with him, and that's the key.
Every now and then you like to get those guys on your side. It's a 5-yard walk-off against Decatur Central, and now that puts them back to around just inside the 9-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 14 yards to go for the Hawks as we are under 6 minutes and 30 seconds left in this third quarter. Avon 17, Decatur Central 14. Avon with a long drive, but a couple of nice defensive plays forced the Orioles to give up the football. Stevens back, throws back. That's actually Taylor Douglas. He finds a man over on the far side who is lifted, did not go down. And he just basically got hit, came over, landed on his feet, and give that young man some very, very good football smarts as he just kept on going. No whistle, so he kept running. And I believe that might have been Ian Mendez. Took a big hop.
Yeah, that could be one of those highlight plays tonight on the news. That was a great run, good play call, little screen pass. You know, if it's there, you complete it and hope for the first down. If not, you just throw the ball away and punt it. And they picked up the first down.
So Dakota Sidwell will take it over the left side, and he will not find a whole lot of room as Tommy Stevens hands it off. But a great job. I believe that was Ian Mendez. Again, very difficult to read the Hawk numbers from here in the press box, but a little throwback screen took a hit. And not sure who delivered that hit, but basically forced him to somersault, but land on his feet, get the first down. 2nd down and 8. Sidwell back in motion. Stevens drops back, fires over there, intercepted by Devin Michael at the 48, and he'll be brought down at the 40-yard line. Stevens with heavy pressure. That's coming in for the Orioles was Chad Piatek. He forced him to get rid of the ball. Michaels jumped in front and picked it off, and the Orioles have the ball at the Hawk 40-yard line.
Yeah, great interception, good pressure by the defensive front. He threw a ball there that probably he wished he hadn't thrown.
So Avon has the ball as Cole Johnson out of the gun, takes a snap, fires down the field, looking for Jalen Edwards. Edwards is going to turn into a defensive back and knock that ball away as good coverage in the secondary by Decatur Central, and Jalen with a very, very smart play just to bat that ball down.
Well, it was a very nice defensive play. Tried to run a little stop and go, came down, stutter-stepped a little bit, tried to make him think he was going to pull up and run that short route, and ended up going deep, but it was covered very well.
Stephen Kay, I believe, was the Hawk in coverage. 2nd down and 10, and Hawks show blitz. Here they come off the corners. The give is up the middle to Derek Tennant, and if not for a saving tackle, Tennant would be in the end zone. As coming up, Daniel Malloy made a shoestring tackle. If not, Derek Tennant is off to the races. As it is, it's a first down for Avon at the Hawk 30 or 28-yard line.
Well blocked up front, hit the hole going full speed, and once he got into the secondary, it did look like he was going to get it all, and a good ankle-saving tackle by Decatur saved the touchdown.
1st and 10 for the Orioles at the Hawk 28-yard line. 4:38 and counting here in the third quarter. Orioles up by 3. Here's a give once again to Tennant, right up the middle, dragging defenders with him. He'll take it inside the 20, close to the 19. Pickup of about 9 on the play for Derek Tennant.
Big difference in the attitude with the Avon offense this second half. They've been attacking. They've kind of developed a little bit of a bully attitude here. They've decided they're just going to come out and run the football, and if they do throw the football, it's going to try and be for the deep pass and the home run. And right now they're running the football very well.
Green and Tennant in an eye behind Johnson. 4 down lineman for the Hawks. Johnson nowhere to hand the ball off to. Miscommunication is kind of looks like Cole went the wrong way. It looked like the play was designed to go right, but he spun left.
Yeah, somebody certainly did had a miscue in the backfield. Lost a couple yards, didn't turn the football over, which is the key, and they still have 2 plays here to get 5 yards.
They'll move the ball back to the 24-yard line. Or 23-yard line. Will bring up 3rd down and 5 for Avon. Clock under 3:30 left to go in the third quarter. Avon still with a 17-14 lead. 2 wideouts to the near side as Johnson works out of the gun. Hawks once again show blitz. They bring a backer. Fires over the left side. Jalen Edwards all alone. Touchdown Avon. Good strike. Cole Johnson to Jalen Edwards. Edwards had the man beat, and as coach has been saying all night long, not a lot of safety help for the Hawk defense.
Yeah, it's really just a matter of Avon. If they can protect, he's going to get open. I mean, at the high school level, I don't know that I've seen anybody that can cover him, with that much room one-on-one, and the offensive line has done a nice job. They've gone to a shotgun and a little quicker release for the quarterback, and that's giving him plenty of time to get open, and now they've hit the 2 big scores.
Miles Edwards' point after is good, and with 3:10 left to go in this third quarter, Avon back up by 10. They lead Decatur Central by the score of 24-14. You're watching high school football on Audio Sports Online alongside the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne. My name is Brian Scott. Hope you've been enjoying the sectional opener for both teams. We'll see if Decatur Central can mount a comeback. They showed in that first half. They watched Avon race out to a 17-0 lead. They put up 2 scores to close it to a 17-14 deficit at halftime. But now Avon has turned a interception by Devin Michael. About 6 plays later, Jalen Edwards is hit from Cole Johnson for a 23-yard touchdown pass, and Avon back out in front by 10, 24-14.
Well, Avon is still hurting them with the big play, but I think the biggest difference this half is just that their attitude. They've come out, they've hung on to the football, they've attacked up front, they've gone to power football. They've decided that they can be physical up front, and that makes it a little tougher for Decatur Central to make any adjustments because now they have to leave those 8 people in there to try to stop the run.
Niles Edwards' kick will bounce and go into the end zone for a touchback. And Decatur Central will start 1st and 10 from their own 20. Avon's actually done a very good job against the Hawks this evening, not giving them a whole lot of very good field position in this football game. And this one, once again, they'll start at their own 20, trailing by 10.
Well, Decatur has moved the football, but I'm not sure that they've got, maybe 1 or 2 plays over 10 yards, and that's really been the difference, I think, for the Avon defense.
Their biggest play was about a 30-yard run by quarterback Tommy Stevens on a keeper around the right side. The give is to the halfback, who will take it right up the middle. And it's only going to be a gain. It's going to be a gain of, about 4 yards.
Yeah, it doesn't look like much, but that was a pretty good first down play for them. They're setting up that little option play that they had some success with earlier here as well, because that's the same action to start that play.
Cameron Evans with the 4-yard run. 2nd down and 6 for the Hawks. 2:38 left to go in this third quarter. 24-14 is our score. Avon with the lead. We bring Dakota in motion, but the pitch goes to the halfback. He'll find some room over the left side, but a penalty flag comes flying in, and this one likely is coming back.
Yeah, probably a hold.
Believe that was Eli Conlon that I think took the carry, but we'll see what happens on the penalty flags. Hold is against the Decatur Central Hawks, so it would have been very close to a first down, but as it is, they're going to march it back 10. And once again, the Hawks are going to find themselves in a bit of a hole as they're going to face second and long. March it back to the 15-yard line. That's going to bring up second down and 15 for the Hawks. As they'll wind the clock with 2:25 left to go in the third quarter. They will have in the backfield Evans and Conlon. As Stevens, quick three-step drop, fires left side. Pass is complete, but only for about 5 yards. Aaron Sandy with the catch for a pickup of 5, but it'll bring up 3rd and 10.
Yeah, Avon will be happy with that all night long. Decatur, if they're going to do anything at all, I think they're going to have to try to go deep. Do something here just to kind of break the momentum. They're nickel and diming a little bit and trying to get away with it a little bit, but they're going to have to come up with a big play.
As they start the play clock, as Sidwell goes in motion, three-step drop by Stevens, pump fakes, looks, fires downfield, man wide open at the 50 and through his hands. Incomplete. Looked like he had Aaron Sandy once again down that far sideline. Sandy wide open, and looked like a well-thrown ball by Tommy Stevens, but it falls right through his hands, incomplete.
Well, again, at least we're kind of on the same page here, because they did come back and they did fake a short pass and try to set it up deep, got their man wide open. They've had that a couple of times here tonight and just haven't been able to convert. And that's been to Avon's benefit right now because the plays were well designed.
Dane Thomas will fair catch at his own 48-yard line as Avon will take over 1st and 10. Other scores, Ron Colley now up on the Plainfield Quakers 24-7 in games involving Mid-State Conference teams. So Plainfield, who had gone 4-0 to start the season, and then on that first bit of storms that hit Central Indiana that forced them to move a game to Saturday, they watched Ron Colley go to Plainfield and win that game 15-10. And now they find themselves down 24-7 in their sectional opener. Meanwhile, Avon 1st and 10 from their own 48-yard line. Play action pass. Johnson gets pressure, eludes it, fires, and now he's got a hand from, knocks it down from behind. It will go incomplete as Cole's arm was moving forward. He got good pressure from the Hawks' defense.
Well, they're bringing more than Avon can handle. And, with the play action fake that's called for on that play, Cole has trouble seeing it coming. He's so concerned about the fake that when they're bringing 6, Anthony Green was out in the open, 20 yards. They didn't have anybody anywhere near him, but Cole never got the opportunity to find him. That's who he was trying to get the ball to, but the pressure didn't allow it.
2nd and 10, but the big give is to Derek Tennant, and he's going to be met and then driven back after a pickup of about 2 yards. I'll say he just got across the 50-yard line before I believe John Sidwell or Austin Day was there to meet him, driving back, but a pickup of about 3. It'll be 3rd down and 7 for the Orioles. Clock under a minute, 47 seconds remaining in this third quarter. The Orioles with a 10-point lead in the sectional opener. Winner of this game will play the winner of Terre Haute North and Terre Haute South, with North at last check up in that contest. 3rd and 7 as Johnson will work out of the gun, takes the snap, looks, pressure comes, fires downfield, looking for Sam Bloom, overthrows, it's intercepted. To the 40, to the 50, running it back inside Oriole territory, and finally driven down. That is Daniel Malloy with the interception. Sam Bloom wide open, but this time Johnson overthrows him and right into the hands of the Hawks' Daniel Malloy.
Those are the plays that kill you as a coach. They were moving the football here very well, had an opportunity to go up 17 points if they were able to score on the drive, and now Decatur's got a chance with good field position to get themselves back in the ballgame.
Malloy, as you could see, he can fly. He took off, got that ball, took it down the near sideline quickly into Oriole territory. 1st and 10 for the Hawks at the 30. Play action pass. Throwing out, looking for Dakota Sidwell, and it's going to be overthrown. Dane Thomas in coverage as coming with the pressure, I believe, was Chad Piatek and also Mac Duffin for the Orioles, but a good play-action pass for Tommy Stevens.
Yeah, very, very good fake, and Avon just covered it very well. It was designed to try to get a back out after the play-action fake, and it was a really well-designed play, good fake. Avon just defended it very well.
12.2 seconds remaining in this third quarter. 2nd and 10 for Decatur Central. Toss comes over the near side. This is Conlon. Conlon with the ball, and nowhere to go is Elijah Daniels, Chad Piatek, and a whole host of Oriole defenders string that one out for no gain as the clock will march down to 0 and end this third quarter. We will flip ends and begin quarter number 4 with the Avon Orioles leading Decatur Central by the score of 24-14. You're watching Oriole football on Audio Sports Online as we get some nice scores here. Carmel up on Warren Central 14-7 after the end of the third quarter as sectional playoffs begin across the state of Indiana tonight. As Martinsville scores again, or Center Grove is all over Martinsville, 34-6. So big score there in another mid-state conference action. Martinsville, of course, had a pretty nice season, but they find themselves now trailing. And Hamilton Southeastern get a Ryan Ribb touchdown. They lead Lafayette Jefferson by the score of 28-13 in sectional action involving Hoosier Crossroads Conference teams. Of course, we watch Harrison and the Mavericks. It's McCutcheon with a 20-0 lead over the Harrison Raiders, and Harrison still was looking for a win. It's been a tough season for Harrison up there, and of course the game we're all watching tonight, Terre Haute North, Terre Haute South. North had the lead. Noblesville and Westfield tied at 14. It is 24-14 here at Avon as the fourth quarter begins with a give by Decatur Central right up the middle as they flip ends on this third down, and it's going to pick up about 5-6 yards on the play, but that's going to bring up a fourth down at the Oriole 24-yard line. It'll bring up fourth and about 4. So fourth down and 4, and Coach Dixon really with nothing, no choice here, but 4 down territory, down by 10. He could, I guess, go for the field goal, but he's going to eschew that and go for the first down. That's Dakota Sidwell in motion. The give is to the tailback or the halfback, and he's going to be brought down for no gain, and the Oriole defense holds, as in there is Chad Skaggs to help bring down, I believe, Eli Conlon.
Yeah, good series for the Avon defense. Played well, no big plays, good penetration, ran to the football well, did all the things the defense that, the defensive coordinators want you to do.
So the Decatur Central Hawks cannot take advantage of the Daniel Malloy interception as second turnover by Avon this time is turned away, and the Orioles will take over on downs, leading 24-14 with 11:16 left to go in this football game as Derek Tennant is not going to find a whole lot of room, and he'll be brought down after a gain of maybe a yard or two at best. So it'll bring up 2nd and 8 for Avon. Ball will be spotted at the 26-yard line. Again, just underway here in the fourth quarter. Orioles with a 10-point lead. They led 17-14 after the half. And they have held Decatur Central scoreless. As we get another score, Brownsburg trailing Zionsville 13-3. That would be a big upset. As first play by Johnson, play action. He keeps it himself, goes left side, picks up the first down and more inside or just outside the 40-yard line. Close to the 41, a good pickup for Cole Johnson. Faked the handoff, kept it himself, took it over the left side. Pick up about 15 yards.
Yeah, good play, and that's been set up by the fact that Avon's been able to run that power play, that little ISO play up inside for big yardage all night. Same play that Cody Baker broke for over 80 yards earlier. And when that happens and they have to adjust to stopping that play, it's going to free something else up. And the coaches saw that and sent the play in, and Cole got around the corner for a first down.
1st and 10, Orioles. Ball at the 41-yard line. Johnson pitches, coming over to the near side, and not getting a whole lot of room to run is Derek Tennant. He's going to be brought down. Tackled by, I believe, Jacob Scotton for the Hawks. Pick up of maybe a half yard on the play. Call it 2nd down and a long 9 for the Orioles.
Yeah, I see Chad Skaggs back in at tight end. He's a bigger body, a better blocker. Looks like Avon's determined here that for the most part they want to run the football, even though Chad's a nice receiver. I think they're kind of in their power attitude here right now. They want to get after him a little bit, take some time off the clock, and see if they can take it down the field and get another touchdown.
Coach Bless was fortunate that Sam Bloom started having some really nice games. That allowed them to move Skaggs as the play clock winds down to 0. That'll be a delay of game penalty against Decatur Central as
Avon.
Or against Avon, excuse me. 21-14 now. Miller's over Westfield. Or excuse me, 21-14 Noblesville over Westfield. Or Westfield over Noblesville. You know, I'll get that right one of these days. 5-yard loss, but as I was mentioning with Sam Bloom doing some excellent work at the tight end position for Avon, that allowed Coach Bless to move Skaggs over to the defensive side of the ball where he's been playing some very, very good football. 2nd and 15 pass. They've got wide open coming down the near sideline is Nolan Woolley. He had a step on the defender as Stephen Kay had was trailing Nolan by about 3 steps, but Johnson with an overthrown ball makes it incomplete and bring up 3rd down at about 15.
Well, good little setup play. You know, everybody's eyes have been on Jalen Edwards. He's got the 2 touchdowns already. He ran a little bit of a short underneath route. Everybody thought that he was going to get the football, and they tried to take it up top to Nolan Woolley, and was just overthrown slightly.
So 3rd down and 15 as back to pass. Johnson has Jalen at the 48. Jalen down the sideline, and he will take it to the house. A 64-yard touchdown pass. Cole Johnson to Jalen Edwards. And now the Orioles are running away here as they now lead 30-14, waiting on Niles Edwards' point after. Jalen Edwards, again, a 64-yard touchdown pass from Cole Johnson. As it looks like Stephen Kay just simply couldn't keep up with Jalen. Tried a lunging tackle that Jalen was able to step through and took it the rest of the way as Edwards' point after is up, and it's good. And with 9:23 left to go in this 4th quarter, Avon now out in front, 31-14.
That's a tough assignment to put anybody one-on-one with all that room out there on Jalen Edwards. He just runs too well, and when you give Cole Johnson time, he's going to put the ball on the money. That's a favorable matchup for Avon. Has been all season and certainly was out here tonight.
Well, we've been hearing scores all night long, and we talked about some of the stuff happening in Sectional 6, have it being so top-heavy. But right now, 2 of the big favorites, and that would be Brownsburg and that would be Ben Davis, are both trailing late in the game as Pike up 14-6 on Ben Davis and Zionsville up on Brownsburg. So as Coach mentioned, once you hit the playoffs, you just don't know what's going to happen. And we talk about seeding and we talk about all sorts of things. But right now, 2 of the top teams in the state of Indiana both having their troubles here on the opening night in sectional play as Niles Edwards kicks this ball away. It'll be taken at the 10 to the 15 to the 20. Reversing field, coming back the other way, 25. And up past the 30 to about the 33-yard line. That is Eli Conlon, I believe, that returned the football for Decatur Central. So Decatur with a little bit better field position than they've had most of this football game. They'll start this drive, let's say, just shy about their own 32-yard line. But now they trail by by the score of 31-14 with 9:16 left to go in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're going to have to change their philosophy now if they want to have a chance to get back in the game. They're 17 points down and 9 minutes to go in the game. You can't do that running football.
And they will run it. As coming over the right side is Eli Conlon. And Conlon will just drag defenders up past the 45, close to the 46-yard line. Good strong run by Conlon, a 5'10", 184-pound junior back. Turnovers in this contest have led to a touchdown by each team. Avon has turned the ball over twice, but they were able to hold the Hawks on that last interception by Daniel Malloy. 1st and 10, Hawks, ball at the 46-yard line. Play action pass, Stevens rolls out, fires in and out of the hands over here on the near sideline. That's once again Eli Conlon out in the flat. Just simply couldn't handle the pass. That'll bring up 2nd and 10 for Decatur Central. Down by 17, 8:47 left to go in the fourth quarter. Haven't seen the Hawks take too many chances down the field. As Coach says, now down by 17 and time winding down in the fourth. They may have to take a few chances. Instead, it's Dakota Sidwell. He'll just take it right up the middle, and he'll pick up 4 yards, but it's only going to get him to the 49-yard line.
Well, Decatur's shown, most of the night that they can, run the ball fairly successfully on Avon, and I'm sure when the game is over, their rushing stats are going to be pretty respectable. But, at this point in the game, 4 or 5 yards at a time, I mean, even if they picked up 5 yards every carry, it's just going to take too much time off the clock for them to be able to close the gap and put 3 touchdowns up, and that's what they need to do right now.
3rd down and 6 for the Hawks. Ball at midfield. Stevens back to pass. Pressure comes from the backside, and Elijah Daniels with Stevens. One of the dangers there on the quarterback. Never saw him, and Elijah just leveled him for a loss back to the 45.
Yeah, big time hit. Fought off the block, got around the corner. Stevens took just a little bit too long waiting for his receiver to get open, and I'm sitting here saying that they have to throw the football, but they do if they want to get back in the game, and they're going to obviously have to protect the quarterback a little bit better.
4th down as the Hawks. Stevens takes a shotgun snap, comes to the near side, fires, and that one's well short. And once again, Avon will take over on downs as they hold Decatur Central. And Orioles will take over 1st and 10, and they will do so on the Hawks side of the field at the 45-yard line. Yeah, we just saw that Pike has extended their lead. They now lead Ben Davis 21-6 in the fourth quarter. So all sorts of interesting things happening in Sectional 6. We'll see if we can find out the score coming out of Terre Haute. That's where the Orioles hope to be in 7 minutes and 41 seconds as they take over 1st and 10 from their own 45. And here's Cody Baker. That's Anthony Green. And Green is going to take one play to go 45 yards and take it to the house. And this game is now broken wide open, 37-14, as a 45-yard touchdown run by Anthony Green puts Avon out in front 37-14 as Niles Edwards is on for the point after. Edwards, good snap, good hold. Kick is up, and the kick is good. 7:33 left to go in this fourth quarter, and Avon now well out in front by the score of 38-14.
New update on Zionsville-Brownsburg, 16-3, Zionsville late in the fourth quarter.
Well, right now we see Pike leading Ben Davis, Zionsville leading Brownsburg, your two top teams in Sectional 6 are not that far away from going down. If that were to hold, it would be Zionsville hosting Pike next week. Meanwhile, Avon now comfortably out in front of Decatur Central by the score of 38-14. So Sectional 6 starting to shake out. The only score we do not have right now is Terre Haute North and Terre Haute South. Last we saw, North was out in front in that game, 28-7 at halftime. Anthony Green with a 45-yard run, and as Coach has mentioned all night, it's been the staple of this Oriole team all season long, the big play. They've gotten several of them tonight as the kickoff is taken at the 9-yard line to the 20, 25, to the 30, to about the 35-yard line. Eli Conlon with the kickoff return, but now the Hawks find themselves trailing big. Still 7:26 left to go in this fourth quarter, but the Hawks, who have not taken any chances down the field pretty much this entire game, they are now going to have to line them up and try to make some plays down the field. They'll have it 1st and 10 from their own 36-yard line. As it's a give, and it's not going to go very far, as ball will be taken right up the middle for a gain of maybe a yard or two.
Yeah, this is a tough situation for Decatur. I mean, they haven't really hit any big plays throwing the football very much. You hate to say it with 7 minutes to go in the game, but right now they're trying to finish the season in good shape, trying to put something on the board, trying to finish respectable here. But to cover this gap in this period of time is going to be very difficult.
Stevens will keep it, and he will be brought down as not being fooled as Matt Patustik. And Matt, staying with Stevens the whole way, limits the Hawk quarterback to maybe a yard at best. That'll bring up 3rd and 7. Ball will be spotted at the Hawk 39-yard line as we approach the midway point of quarter number 4. Again, the Orioles, after Anthony Green's 45-yard touchdown run, they now lead 38-14. As Stevens drops back to pass, pump fakes, rolls to his right, looks, fires down the field, stepping in front and making the interception is Devin Michael, his 2nd of the football game. Well, when you're not comfortable really throwing the ball downfield, the second time they've kind of underthrown that ball, and Michael was right there to pick it off for Avon. So the Orioles, after the second interception of Tommy Stevens in this football game, they'll start this drive 1st and 10 from their own 40, up 38-14, 6:10 remaining in this fourth quarter. As Johnson and the offense back out on the field, the give is right up the middle.
That's Falk.
As Falk will take it up the middle for a gain of about 3 or 4, as Coach Bless now starting to rotate a few other players in.
Well, Avon's attitude in the second half has been terrific. They've come out here and been very physical, both offensively and defensively. Right now they're pitching a shutout in the second half after giving up those 2 scores in the last 5 minutes of the first half. And offensively, they've come out here with a much different attitude, a little chip on their shoulder, run the football at them pretty well, and hit the big plays in the passing game when they needed to.
After a 4-yard gain from Daniel Falk, he'll get the carry again. He'll take it up for about a yard. It's up to the 45-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down and 5 for the Orioles. Clock moving, 5:18 left to go in this fourth quarter.
Roncalli final 24-7 over Plainfield.
So Plainfield's season comes to an end as Coach Woodard's team started strong but faded down the stretch, and they'll lose to Roncalli for the 2nd time this season as they lose in the sectional opener. 3rd and 5 for Avon as Johnson with a long count. Play action gives the handoff, coming to the near side is once again Daniel Falk. Ball is stripped, ball is down, and they say that Orioles recovered, and it's a gain of about a yard, and now head coach Justin Dixon will use the first of his 3 timeouts to stop the clock, as the Orioles will have a 4th down and 4. And Niles Edwards will be on to punt this one away with 4:37 left to go in quarter number 4. So a whole lot of interesting action going on first week of sectional play in the 40th IHSAA football tournament. Salt Pike leading Ben Davis, Zionsville leading Brownsburg, 2 of the top teams in the state of Indiana. Of course, the Bulldogs undefeated on the season with a record of 9-0, but a 9-0 regular season doesn't get you a whole lot if you lose in the first round of the playoffs. And currently they find themselves trailing Zionsville late in that 4th quarter.
Well, and not only that, but it'll be tough because they've beat people up this year because they've run the football so well, and I'm not sure that they've been behind in a game this year. So, for them to play catch-up football, I'm sure it's a little bit tough, and they're a very high-character team, and Coach Comer's done a great job, but that's not their style, so it'll be difficult for them to catch up. But character-wise, I won't be surprised.
Decatur Central came with a block. They might have gotten a piece of this, but Edwards is able to get it away, and they'll take an Avon roll inside the 30 and finally stop at around the 29-yard line. That's where the Hawks will take over 1st and 10, but they trail 38-14. Giants of Ben Davis trailing Warren Central 21-12 now, late in the 3rd quarter. Believe that was a TV game that got started a little late tonight. 4:29 remains, though, in this football game, with now Avon well out in front, 38-14, as the Hawks will take over 1st and 10. And now we got penalty flags all over the place. And another illegal substitution. That's the second one on the Hawks in this football game.
Well, they're, because they're behind, they're in their passing offensive formation tonight with three wide receivers, and normally they're in there with 3 running backs. So probably one of the running backs ran on the field not realizing that they were going to switch the formation.
So it'll push Decatur Central back 5 to the 24-yard line as we get some and now they're going to wave off the flag. So after moving it back 5 yards and then the officials discussing things, they're going to pick up the flag, wave it off, and move the ball back to the 29-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10, Decatur Central. Stevens will take a shotgun snap. Here comes Daniels from the backside. They sandwich Stevens, and that forces him to get rid of the football as 3 Orioles met at the quarterback with Elijah Daniels coming from the backside. Stevens got the ball away, but nowhere close to a Hawk receiver, and he'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, he took a beating on that also because he never saw Elijah coming since he was coming from the backside.
Terre Haute North is up 21-10 in the 4th quarter. So things are starting to shape up for next week. Whether North holds on to that lead or not is irrelevant. Looks like Avon will be making a trip to Terre Haute next week. Here is Stevens, and he gets popped on a quarterback draw. Penalty flag comes in late as Isaiah Robinson made the hit, but might have made it high. We'll see what the penalty flag is about. It looks like they are explaining this to Coach Bless, but not too happy about the call. And they're going to call a personal foul against Avon. So Robinson came in, looked like he delivered the hit. Did come high as Stevens was starting to go down. So Greenwood is knocked off Owen Valley 44-7 to play Ron Colley next week. So Greenwood, after a setback last week against Whiteland, goes back to their high-scoring ways, and now they'll face Ron Colley next week. It'll be 1st and 10 for Decatur Central. Stevens fires over to the right side. Pass well overthrown, looking for Sandy over on the far sideline. It drops incomplete. It'll bring up 2nd and 10. 4:04 remains in this 4th quarter. 38-14 is our score.
Yeah, I think the outcome, I'll put the kiss of death on Avon. I don't think the outcome's in doubt here. What Avon wants to do here tonight is finish up hustling, playing well, not making mistakes, not having penalties, just play as hard as they can to the end of the game, both offensively and defensively.
2nd and 10 for Decatur Central at the 46. Stevens stays back in the shotgun, but he'll fire it out to the right side and in and out of the hands of his wide receiver over there, as going to his knees trying to bring it in was Aaron Sandy. And it just goes in and out of his hands, incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd and 10. Well, I didn't think that Warren Central and Carmel were in the third quarter. We find out that game is tied in the fourth quarter with about a minute left in regulation, tied at 14. So one of the high-profile games in the state of Indiana happening up in Carmel, and that game is all knotted up at 14. Meanwhile, this game, as Coach said, pretty much all done but the shooting. Still 4 minutes left as Stevens fires over to the right side, pass incomplete, and a late penalty flag comes in from the far side as they were trying to hit Riker Stout on the pass, and they're going to call a pass interference penalty against Avon. Looked like the defender and the ball and the receiver all met at about the same time, but Decatur Central is going to get the benefit of the doubt on this one.
Yeah, they are, and that's, going back to what I said a couple of plays before. Avon has played very well, especially in the second half. Decatur obviously wants to save some face here, and their kids want to go off playing hard and trying to put the ball in the end zone. At the same time, Avon, if they're going to advance next week, they want to finish up here strong and in good shape. Play well, play hard, and not make those kind of mistakes, because in a game tonight you might be able to get away with them, but as you move further on in the tournament, mistakes and penalties and those types of things are what's going to hurt you.
Tommy Stevens tried to set up the screen to Eli Conlon on the near side, and Coach, one of the things we look at this 6'3", 161 sophomore quarterback for Decatur Central, he has shown that he has some tools. He's had a lot of balls dropped by his receivers tonight.
Yeah, he's a very, very nice athlete. He's handled the pressure of Avon very well tonight. He's taken some good hits, and he's hung in there pretty tough.
And once again, he has a receiver drop the ball. Sandy with the catch. That time Brian Stinnett, I believe, was right there as the ball was delivered, but it was a good strike by Tommy Stevens. And again, good looking young man for Decatur Central. And if he is only a sophomore, he should be. It looks like the quarterbacking position for Decatur Central is going to be very sound next year as he matures.
I'd say for the next 2 years. And really overall, Decatur hasn't played badly tonight. They just gave up too many big plays. Offensively, they've moved the football. Defensively, they've contained Avon very well, except for, the long touchdown passes and, the couple of long runs. But if Avon ran 50 plays tonight, Decatur defended him pretty well on 44. It was just those 6 that ended up on in the end zone that have been difficult for them. And offensively, they've moved the football. They just haven't been able to hit the big plays that Avon's been able to hit.
4th and 10 as Stevens drops back, eludes the pressure, but not totally, as coming in and making the play is Chad Piatek. As he got a hand on Tommy Stevens, would not let go. And once again, the Hawks will turn the ball over on downs on some good defense and some drop balls by the Hawk receivers. And Avon with 3 minutes and 33 seconds remaining in this football game. Now with a game not in doubt, Orioles will be advancing. They lead 38-14. So they will be traveling to Terre Haute next week. Again, regardless of what happens, but right now it looks like they will be traveling to Terre Haute North. Center Grove beats Martinsville 41-12. As Avon takes over 1st and 10 from the 42. Richie Steinmetz now in as he will hand off right up the middle. I believe Daniel Falk with the carry. And it's a gain of about 3 on the play.
Yeah, right now it's a good time for Avon. They want to get some other kids in there, get them a little experience. Hopefully get out of here healthy, without any mistakes, without any penalties. It's been a great second half. They're moving on. Traveling to Terre Haute traveling for anybody's tough. Traveling with high school kids is even tougher. Terre Haute North is a good football team. Beat Warren Central earlier in the year. That will be a difficult game, but if Avon plays the way they did here the second half tonight, they'll be fine.
Little confusion on the offensive side of the ball, and rather than take a timeout, they just let the play clock run down. They'll take the delay of game. Now, I would really like to see that call change from delay of game to play clock violation. Back in the days, you understood why it was a delay of game. Now it's just more of a play clock violation, but be as it may, it's a 5-yard walk-off against Avon back to the 39-yard line, where they'll have it second down and 13 yards to go. As Steinmetz bends under center. He'll take the snap and give it to Falk. Falk, hard run over the right side to take it beyond the 45 up to the 46-yard line, as Decatur Central is going to call a timeout with 2:41 remaining in this fourth quarter. 38-14 is our score. So, whole lot of action.
7 seconds left in the Warren Central Carmel game. Carmel has the ball, 35 yards to go. So unless they hit a big one, guess there's always a possibility you can try a 52-yard field goal, but
I'm not sure if you saw this. This has been floating around this past week. There was a high school game in Washington this past week, and a young man hit a 67-yard field goal to send the game to overtime, and he made it with about a yard or two to spare. One of those things that once that ball left his foot, you could hear on the audio this loud boom, and the crowd just going, just oohing and on, because they knew once it left his foot, it had the chance.
It had a chance. So 67 yards is unbelievable.
Here's a pitch to Falk. He'll run over the far side, and he'll pick up a yard or two down to about the 48. As fourth down for Avon, as they'll send the punt team out.
Okay. Evidently, Carmel is attempting to kick that 52-yard field goal I just mentioned.
Well, with only a few seconds left, I guess the
what
worst,
do you have to lose?
You put a single safety back, I guess, if you're Warren, and maybe it falls short and you run it back, but chances are that game's going to overtime. Meanwhile, Niles Edwards is back to punt for Avon, and he will get this ball, a low-line drive that is taken at the 16, taken to the far sideline and taken out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. And Decatur Central, with 1:53 left, one timeout, they trail 38-14 for the Hawks. They are going to find their season end tonight and wrap up this football season with a 4-6 record. And for Coach Justin Dixon's team, they've had some good wins this year. They've knocked off Martinsville earlier this season at Martinsville, 28-17. They've also defeated Whiteland 38-21, but they had a couple of streaks that cost them, a 3-game losing streak where they lost to Plainfield, Greenwood, and Roncalli. Three tough games for the Hawks. As this is Dakota Sidwell, I believe, with the carry, and he's going to find himself a couple of yards as the clock begins to march down. So Decatur Central, much like we've seen Avon, I think, at times this year, they've had some good wins. They've played well at times, but they're going to find their season ending in the opening round of sectional play, as Avon is going to advance. They'll travel to Terre Haute, where right now we believe they will be taking on Terre Haute North. Stevens drops back, fires, pass complete over here to the near sideline.
Overtime.
As Riker Stout makes the catch, popped by Michaels. And it'll bring up 3rd and 1 for the Hawks. Is under 1:10 left in this fourth quarter. And the Hawks will line up at 3rd and 1, and they'll bring everybody close. And Brinkley look to run this ball as coming over the right side. That is Eli Conlon, and Conlon did not get back to the line of scrimmage. In fact, he lost a yard as he's going to be brought down at the 34-yard line. That's going to bring up 4th and 2. Clock moves. 41 seconds remain in this football game. So we've had all sorts of scores. Lawrence Central defeats Southport. They're going to face the winner of that Carmel-Warren Central game as that game is going into overtime. Here is a handoff looking around the right side. I believe that is Ian Mendez as the clock will stop as he did not make the first down. And once again, Decatur Central is going to turn the ball over on downs. That means Avon, all they're going to have to do is kneel on it and then plan for the bus trip to Terre Haute, whether it's Terre Haute North or Terre Haute South. They'll be taking on the Patriots or the Braves. And again, at the last report, they will more than likely be taking on the Patriots. As Avon will advance to the sectional semifinal. As they pitch a shutout here in the second half. Avon led 17-14 at the half, and they keep Decatur Central out from scoring at all here in this second half, leading now 38-14 as Steinmetz in the offense is going to kneel it down here to run off this final 20 seconds. Steinmetz takes the knee, and that's going to do it. As the Avon Orioles have knocked off Decatur Central by the score of 38-14, they will advance to the sectional semifinal game. As the final seconds move.
Pike 21-19. It's not over yet.
Well, Ben Davis is going to make that a game, and we probably didn't expect any less out of Ben Davis. So you will find out, like the rest of us will tomorrow morning, what happens in Sectional 6. It has been a wild and crazy night as Fishers knocked off Anderson 27-14. They will likely be playing a very, very big game next week at Hamilton Southeastern. Hamilton Southeastern was leading Jeff at the last point, and that's in Sectional 4. But right now, Sectional 6. And we have just found out Brownsburg, much like Ben Davis, they are now leading Zionsville 17-16 with 4:30 left to go in the fourth quarter. So, Coach, you kind of expect that from good teams. We talk about Ben Davis, we talk about Brownsburg, two of the better teams in the state of Indiana, both trailing for pretty much this entire evening. And here we find out late in the fourth quarter, Ben Davis is within a couple of points of Pike, and the Bulldogs are taking the league on the Eagles.
Well, I think it speaks very well of the character of both those teams and the coaching staffs of both those teams, not to let their kids stay down. And again, I mean, with Brownsburg, it hasn't been something they've had to do. It's not their style of play, but obviously they've found a way to battle back and score 2 touchdowns. So my hat's off to them no matter how that game ends up.
Meanwhile, let's talk about tonight's game. For the Avon Orioles, it was the big play. That has been a staple of the Orioles all season long. They got good contributions as Cole Johnson hit on a couple of big pass plays. Cody Baker and Anthony Green also ran off some pretty big runs. And in the end, they are able to overcome a couple of turnovers, one that cost the Orioles late there in the first half. But in the end, they come out and they're going to advance next week.
Well, they played well. In the second half, they played very well. The first half, they played well, other than the spell at the end of the half when Decatur scored a couple of touchdowns. And I think we've mentioned multiple times tonight about tournament play. I mean, there's scores all over the state that nobody's expected, and teams battling back in that whole thing. But Avon came out tonight, played with a purpose. The second half, they ended up winning 21-0. They got good contribution from the offense. They took advantage of the style of play that Decatur was playing tonight, and they hit a couple of home runs with Anthony Green and Cody Baker on the ground. And Cole Johnson, found some wide open receivers with that man-to-man coverage to score the big plays. And the Avon defense, the second half, bent a little bit, but really just pretty well dominated play, didn't give up any big plays, made Decatur work very, very hard for everything they did tonight. And I thought, overall the Avon defense played pretty well.
For Decatur Central, they are in look like some pretty good hands next year. Tommy Stevens, a sophomore quarterback, he had some very, very good throws. Dakota Sidwell, the halfback, wingback, he ran the ball pretty effectively. He is only a sophomore as well. Eli Conlon ran the ball pretty effectively. He is a junior. They might be looking for a little bit of help from wide receiver next year, but so far some of the core of this Hawks offense looks like they're in pretty good hands.
Well, they're a solid, well-coached football team. I mean, they played well defensively again. We'll just beat the dead horse other than the big plays. And, tonight Decatur didn't have the ability to make the big plays offensively, but, their offensive line blocked well. Their running backs ran hard. Their quarterback is a very fine sophomore quarterback who looks like he's going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the area, if not the state, here in the next couple of years. I mean, he's a very fine player and hung in there and took a beating and put the ball on the money and played very tough tonight. So, I mean, the Decatur, I thought, played a very solid game. They just weren't able, to hit any big plays or make that, that kickoff return. They did have the one interception, but they got chased down. They had a couple of long runs that Avon was able to run down, and when Avon got in the open, they just had enough speed to take it all the way, and that really was the big difference in the game tonight.
Decatur Central, the Hawks, they finished their season with a record of 4-6. Avon advances. They are now 6-4 on the season. They await the winner of Terre Haute South and Terre Haute North. At last report, we had Terre Haute North ahead in that game. I believe the score was 21-10. Either way, Avon will be making a trip to Terre Haute next week, as we just got a quick score. Warren Central 21-14 now on Carmel, but it's going to be Carmel's chance in overtime. But in the meantime, in Sectional 6, close ones going down to the wire at Ben Davis and Pike. Ben Davis was trailing by 2 at the last report, 21-19, and Brownsburg had come back to take the lead on Zionsville by the score of 17-16. It's been a fun night in sectional openers here in the state of Indiana, and it's only week 1 of the tournament. Coach, any final thoughts as we get ready for the Orioles to head to Terre Haute next week?
Well, it was a good week. This is a tough week. This is the first year Avon's been on the year-round school. So, they were here kind of all by themselves this week. Lots of people on vacation, lots of kids that are gone. Not here. They're a little bit out of routine, a little bit out of schedule, and they evidently got it done. They came out here and played with a pretty good purpose. We talked about how inconsistency had been, one of the bugaboos for them most of the year, and tonight I thought they played pretty solid football from start to finish, and that's what you want to do during tournament time. Next week will be tough. Terre Haute North did beat Warren Central earlier in the year. We just got a report that Warren Central is beating Carmel right now in overtime, so next week's game will not be an easy game. Going on the road is tough, and they're going to have to play the same kind of football they played here tonight.
Again, the final score, Avon advances to the sectional semifinals. They knock off Decatur Central by the score of 38-14. For the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne, my name's Brian Scott. Thanks for joining us tonight. Keep it tuned to Audio Sports Online. Check next week. We'll let you know where we're going to be and what time we're going to be on. Until then, so long, everybody.